Imagine the hidden leaf trembling not before a tailed beast, but the crushing pressure of Asakusa's king. If Naruto possessed Benimaru Shinmon's devastating hybrid flames, the ninja world wouldn't just change, it would burn. Witness a legendary fusion of will and fire, where the child of prophecy becomes the mightiest destroyer.
The clearing burned. Crimson flames danced across the scorched earth where trees once stood, casting flickering shadows across the faces of academy students who had gathered to watch their classmate die. Instead, they watched Mizuki die. The traitor Chunin was nothing now, just ash scattered on the wind, his final scream still echoing through the forest of death. Naruto Uzumaki stood at the center of the inferno, one hand resting on the long pole planted in the ground beside him, the traditional matoi that marked him as something other than a normal shinobi. His eyes, those strange eyes with a red circle in the right pupil and a red cross in the left, reflected the firelight with an otherworldly glow. Above them, the moon hung blood red in the sky, tinted by the heat and smoke rising from Naruto's ultimate technique. Iruka Umino stumbled into the clearing, kunai drawn, ready to protect his student. He froze. The scene before him made no sense. Mizuki, one of the academy's strongest instructors, was gone. Naruto, the dead last of the graduating class, stood unharmed in a crater of his own making. The scroll of seals lay at the boy's feet, unopened. Naruto. Iruka's voice cracked. What happened here? The blond boy turned slowly, his traditional black hakama and red-trimmed guy barely singed despite the flames still licking at the edges of the clearing. He lifted the matoi with one hand, a weapon that should have required two hands and significant strength to wield, and slung it across his back with practiced ease. Mizuki-sensei talked too much, Naruto said, his voice calm and measured, devoid of the hyperactive energy everyone associated with him. I made him stop. But to understand how the weakest student in Konoha's academy became a force of nature capable of reducing a Chunin to ash, we must go back. Back to earlier that night, when Mizuki's treachery first revealed itself. The moon had been pale yellow when Mizuki found Naruto in the forest, exhausted from hours of practicing the techniques in the scroll of seals. The silver-haired Chunin's smile was predatory, his words honeyed poison. You did well, Naruto. Lord Hokage will be so pleased. Mizuki stepped closer, hand resting on the large shuriken strapped to his back. But first, I need to tell you something. Something about yourself that the entire village has kept secret. Naruto looked up from the scroll, his expression unreadable. For years, he'd played the fool, the loud-mouthed prankster who couldn't even perform a proper clone jutsu. It was easier that way. People didn't fear what they thought was harmless. They didn't hunt what they believed was weak. But Naruto Uzumaki had never been weak. I already know, Naruto said quietly, reaching for the matoi he'd leaned against a nearby tree. About the Nine Tails. About the fourth Hokage sealing it inside me. About why the villagers look at me like I killed their families. Mizuki's smile faltered. Then you know you're a monster, a demon, and as a loyal shinobi of Konoha, I can't let you keep that scroll. The Chunin drew his large shuriken with both hands, the metal gleaming in the moonlight. Die, demon! The weapon spun through the air, a disc of death aimed at Naruto's head. Naruto didn't move. His right hand shot out, catching the massive shuriken by its central ring. His fingers didn't even tremble from the impact. Mizuki's eyes widened as Naruto's hand began to glow, crimson flames igniting across his palm and spreading along the metal. The shuriken turned orange, then white-hot, then began to drip. Molten metal poured between Naruto's fingers like water, hissing when it hit the grass below. You talk too much, Mizuki-sensei, Naruto said, dropping the remains of the weapon. Steam rose from his unburned hand. Mizuki stumbled backward, hand fumbling for a kunai. What are you? That's not a normal jutsu. That's my Kekkei Genkai. Naruto planted his matoi in the ground with one hand, the heavy pole sinking deep into the earth. I control fire. All fire. The flames I create and the flames others try to use against me. It was a lie, but a necessary one. The concept of second and third generation pyrokinetics didn't exist in this world. There were no infernals here, no Adala bursts, no fire force, just shinobi with their elemental jutsu and bloodline limits. So Naruto let them believe his abilities were simply another Kekkei Genkai, rare, powerful, and entirely his. Mizuki's fear transformed into desperate rage. "I don't care what you can do. You're still just a child." He formed hand seals, his chakra flaring. Fire style, fireball jutsu. Flames erupted from Mizuki's mouth, a roiling sphere of orange fire that consumed the space between them. Naruto raised his hand. The fireball stopped mid-flight. Mizuki's jutsu hung in the air, flames writhing as if alive, trying to continue forward but held in place by an invisible force. Naruto's fingers curled, and the fireball rotated slowly, turning back toward its caster. "I told you," Naruto said, his red-marked eyes reflecting the captured flames. "I control all fire." With a flick of his wrist, Naruto sent the fireball back. Mizuki dove aside, the flames scorching the ground where he'd stood. The Chunin rolled to his feet, breathing hard, sweat pouring down his face. "Impossible. You're supposed to be the dead last. You can't even make a proper clone." Naruto's expression didn't change, because the academy teaches the clone jutsu, and I have too much chakra for it to work. Bushin no Jutsu requires precise chakra control. I never needed it. He pulled the matoi from the ground, spinning it once with casual strength. "I have other skills." Mizuki charged, kunai in hand, enhanced by chakra to increase his speed. He aimed for Naruto's throat, putting everything into one final strike. He never reached his target. 4 meters from Naruto, Mizuki's skin began to burn. Not from visible flames, but from heat. Intense, overwhelming heat that radiated from the blonde boy like a physical barrier. Mizuki screamed, his charge faltering as his clothes began to smoke. He tried to retreat, but his skin was already blistering, red welts appearing across his face and arms. "What is this?" Mizuki collapsed to his knees just outside the invisible sphere of heat, gasping for air that felt like breathing from an oven. "My domain," Naruto explained, his voice flat. 4 meters in every direction. Within this space, I control all heat. You entered uninvited." He tilted his head slightly. "That was your mistake." Mizuki tried to form hand seals again, desperately gathering chakra for another fire-style jutsu. Anything to hurt this monster, this demon that had been hiding among them all along. Naruto sighed. Pathetic. His right hand moved in a smooth, practiced motion, the Ei hand sword technique that he'd spent years perfecting in secret. Crimson flames ignited along his palm and fingers, forming a blade of pure fire. Naruto's hand sliced through the air in a horizontal arc. A crescent-shaped wave of flames erupted from his hand, tearing through the space between them. The attack was precise, controlled, devastatingly powerful. It wasn't the wild, chaotic fire of most fire-style jutsu. This was fire given form and purpose, fire that obeyed his will absolutely. Mizuki tried to dodge, but the attack was too fast, too wide. The flaming crescent caught him across the chest, and he screamed. But Naruto wasn't finished. He brought his left hand up, creating another blade of fire. This time, he slashed vertically, then diagonally, each movement sending more crescents of crimson flame toward the stumbling Chunin. The attacks came faster, a deadly dance of fire that illuminated the forest, clearing like daylight. "Fire Moon," Naruto said calmly, naming the technique as he executed a spinning slash that sent a wheel of flames rolling toward Mizuki. The Chunin was surrounded now, flames on all sides, his escape routes cut off by walls of fire. His skin was charred, his clothes burned away in places, but he was still alive, still conscious, still able to feel fear. "Please," Mizuki gasped, falling to his knees. "I'm sorry, I won't." "You tried to kill me," Naruto interrupted. "You betrayed the village. You revealed classified information." He raised both hands, flames dancing between his fingers. "And you called me a demon." His red-marked eyes locked onto Mizuki's terrified gaze. "Let me show you what a real demon looks like." Naruto brought his hands together, fingers forming a specific pattern he developed through countless hours of practice. His chakra surged, mixing with his pyrokinetic abilities in a way that created something beyond normal fire-style jutsu. This was his ultimate technique, the move that combined everything he was capable of as a hybrid 2nd and 3rd generation fire user. Ei hand sword, Crimson Moon. Naruto's hands swept outward in a circular motion. The world turned red. A massive sphere of crimson flames exploded from Naruto's position, expanding outward in a perfect circle. The fire was so hot that the trees at the edge of the clearing burst into flames before the attack even touched them. The grass turned to ash. The air itself seemed to ignite. Mizuki had time for one final scream before the crimson moon consumed him. When the flames finally receded, drawn back into Naruto's body like a reverse explosion, there was nothing left of Mizuki. No body, no bones, no trace that he had ever existed. Just a circle of scorched earth and ash that drifted on the wind. Above them, the moon had turned crimson from the heat and smoke, hanging in the sky like a cosmic mirror of Naruto's attack. That was when the academy students arrived, drawn by the light and the sound. That was when Iruka stumbled into the clearing, kunai in hand, ready to protect a student who needed no protection. That was when the legend began. Iruka stared at the scroll of seals, then at Naruto, then at the ash-covered clearing. His mind struggled to process what had happened here. Naruto, did you kill Mizuki? He tried to kill me first, Naruto replied, picking up the scroll with his free hand. He told me to steal this scroll, said it was a test. Then he tried to take it and kill me when I succeeded. He held it out to Iruka. I'm not interested in forbidden jutsu. I've got my own techniques. The scarred Chunin took the scroll with trembling hands. Your techniques? That fire? I've never seen anything like it. Kekkei Genkai, Naruto said simply. My eyes aren't just for show. He gestured to the red markings in his pupils. I'm a fire user, second and third generation hybrid, though nobody in this village would understand what that means. He was lying again, mixing truth with fiction. There were no generations in this world, but the explanation served its purpose. People could accept a bloodline limit. They could categorize it, classify it, put it in a box with other Kekkei Genkai. It made him less frightening than the truth, that he had the complete abilities of Benimaru Shinmon, the strongest fire user from a world that didn't exist here. Lord Hokage needs to know about this, Iruka said, still staring at the destruction Naruto had caused. About your abilities. About Mizuki's betrayal. Then tell him. Naruto turned to leave, Matoi resting on his shoulder. But make something clear, Iruka-sensei. I'm not some weapon for the village to use. I'm not going to become Hokage. I don't serve the council or the elders. He looked back over his shoulder, the red moon still visible in the sky behind him. I protect the people I choose to protect. Nobody else. The third Hokage's office felt smaller than usual, cramped by the weight of revelation. Hiruzen Sarutobi sat behind his desk, the scroll of seals rolled out before him, untouched by Naruto's hands. Across from him stood a boy who had hidden his true nature for 12 years. Show me, Hiruzen said quietly, his pipe smoldering in the ashtray. Naruto held out his hand. Crimson flames ignited across his palm, dancing between his fingers with perfect control. The fire gave off tremendous heat, but it didn't spread, didn't consume anything it wasn't directed to burn. I can create my own fire, Naruto explained, his voice carrying none of the childish enthusiasm others expected from him. Third generation ability, and I can control external fire sources, second generation. Together, they make me a hybrid, the rarest type. Hiruzen leaned forward, his aged eyes studying the flames. And your eyes? The markings? Part of the Kekkei Genkai. The circle lets me see heat signatures. The cross helps me aim my attacks. More lies, but necessary ones. In truth, Benimaru's eyes were simply distinctive features, not functional tools, but giving them purpose in this world made the deception more believable. How long have you had these abilities? Always. Naruto extinguished the flames. I was born with them. I started training in secret when I was 6, after the villagers tried to kill me on my birthday. Figured if I was going to survive, I needed to be strong enough that nobody would dare attack me again. The Hokage's expression tightened with old guilt. The demon fox attack, the fourth Hokage's sacrifice, the village's hatred of an innocent child, all of it had driven Naruto to hide his strength, to play the fool while becoming a monster in secret. Why reveal yourself now? Because Mizuki forced my hand, because I'm tired of pretending to be weak. Naruto's red-marked eyes met Hiruzen's gaze without flinching, and because I graduate tomorrow, and everyone will see what I can do eventually. Hiruzen picked up his pipe, taking a long draw. Smoke curled toward the ceiling. The council will want to test you, to measure your abilities and determine how you can best serve Konoha. No, the single word hung in the air like a blade. No? Hiruzen raised an eyebrow. I won't be their weapon, Naruto said flatly. I won't take orders from people who've hated me my entire life. I'll work as a shinobi, I'll take missions, but I choose who I protect and who I fight for. He crossed his arms. The council can accept that, or I can leave the village. Either way, I'm not their puppet. For a long moment, the Hokage said nothing. He studied Naruto, really studied him, and saw not the hyperactive child who'd spent years pranking the village, but a young man with the eyes of someone who'd already decided how his story would end. Hiruzen had seen that look before, in the eyes of students who became legends. Very well, Hiruzen said finally, but you will need a team, standard protocol for all genin. I'll work with them, Naruto allowed, but I don't follow their orders. I'm not interested in team dynamics and trust exercises. Kakashi Hatake will be your Jonin instructor. He'll understand your independent nature. Naruto shrugged. As long as he doesn't expect me to pretend I'm weak, we'll get along fine. Hiruzen opened a drawer, pulling out a Konoha headband. Congratulations, Naruto Uzumaki. You've graduated from the academy. Naruto took the headband but didn't put it on his forehead like most shinobi. Instead, he tied it around his matoi, securing it near the top of the long pole. I'll wear it, Naruto said, seeing the question in Hiruzen's eyes. But not as a symbol of loyalty to the village, as a reminder of the people I protect, Iruka-sensei, Tochi, and Ayame at Ichiraku, the few who saw me as human. He hefted the matoi onto his shoulder. That's what this headband means to me. The third Hokage watched Naruto leave, the boy's traditional clothing and firefighter's pole marking him as something other than a conventional shinobi. Hiruzen had wanted Naruto to become a hero who united the village. Instead, he'd created a legend who refused to serve anyone but himself. Perhaps that was more fitting for the son of the fourth Hokage. Team 7 assembled 3 days later in the academy classroom. Sakura Haruno sat prim and proper, her inner persona screaming about being paired with Sasuke Uchiha. The dark-haired Uchiha prodigy slouched in his seat, radiating practiced indifference. And Naruto Uzumaki sat by the window, matoi leaning against the wall, his expression calm as he watched clouds drift past. Sakura glanced at Naruto with poorly concealed disdain. Great, we're stuck with the dead last. Naruto didn't respond. He learned years ago that words were wasted on people who'd already decided what to believe. Sasuke, however, studied Naruto with narrowed eyes. The Uchiha had heard rumors about what happened in the forest, about Mizuki's disappearance in the scorched clearing that still smoldered 3 days later, about Naruto's strange abilities and stranger eyes. You killed Mizuki, Sasuke said. Not a question. Yes, higher. Sasuke's jaw tightened at the non-answer. Show me. Naruto turned from the window, his red-marked eyes meeting Sasuke's black ones. No. Why not? Afraid I'll copy it with my Sharingan? You can't copy what you don't understand, Naruto said calmly, and I don't perform on command. Before Sasuke could respond, the door slid open. Kakashi Hatake stepped inside, his visible eye crinkling in what might have been a smile beneath his mask. Yo, my first impression is, you're interesting. The training ground was empty except for Team 7. Kakashi stood before them, 2 bells dangling from his fingers. The test is simple. Take these bells from me before noon. Those who don't get a bell go back to the academy. Sakura raised her hand. But Kakashi-sensei, there are only 2 bells and 3 of us. Exactly. This exercise is designed to create conflict. Kakashi pocketed the bells. You're encouraged to use weapons, jutsu, whatever you think will work. Come at me with intent to kill, or you'll never succeed. Sasuke and Sakura tensed, preparing to attack. Naruto stood up from where he'd been sitting and walked toward Kakashi, hands in his pockets. Naruto? Kakashi tilted his head. What are you doing? Leaving. The test hasn't started yet. I'm not taking your test. Naruto stopped a few feet from the Jonin, close enough that Kakashi could see the strange markings in his pupils. I don't need to prove myself to you or anyone else. You want to see what I can do? Check your bingo book. I'm sure the third Hokage filed a report after the Mizuki incident. Kakashi's visible eye narrowed. The Hokage recommended you for this team specifically. He seems to think you need teammates. I'll work with them on missions, Naruto said. But I'm not playing games about teamwork and cooperation. Either pass me and give them the speech about how this was really about working together, or fail me and I'll request a transfer. He turned to leave. Your choice, Sensei. Kakashi's hand moved faster than most genin could track. Kunai aimed at Naruto's back. You're pretty confident for someone who can't even do a proper clone jutsu. The kunai struck Naruto between the shoulder blades and bounced off. The metal clattered to the ground, bent and smoking. Kakashi's eye widened as heat rippled the air around Naruto's body, a shimmer of distortion that extended roughly 4 meters in every direction. Heat domain, Naruto explained without turning around. Nothing enters my space without my permission. Your kunai started heating up the moment it crossed the boundary. By the time it reached me, the metal was too soft to penetrate skin. He glanced over his shoulder. Try again, and I'll melt it before it gets close. Kakashi formed hand seals with his left hand, his right hand crackling with blue lightning. Lightning blade! The Chidori screamed in Kakashi's palm as he charged forward. Lush, aiming to at least knock Naruto down, if not seriously injure him, he made it 3 meters. Kakashi's Chidori flickered, the lightning dispersing as the heat sapped its power. His hand felt like it was burning, the chakra construction destabilizing from the environmental interference. He stumbled back, shaking his hand to cool it. Lightning requires specific atmospheric conditions, Naruto said calmly. Heat disrupts those conditions. Within my domain, your lightning-style techniques won't work. He finally turned to face Kakashi fully. Neither will most fire-style jutsu, since I can just absorb them, and water-style evaporates before it reaches me. Kakashi lowered his hand, his mind racing. The Hokage's report hadn't mentioned this. A 4-meter sphere where elemental jutsu didn't work, where heat itself became a weapon. Combined with the fire abilities Naruto had demonstrated against Mizuki, this boy was essentially immune to most standard shinobi tactics. So you're untouchable, Kakashi said slowly. Not untouchable, just selective about who touches me. Naruto's expression remained neutral. I can drop the domain if I choose. I can allow specific people or objects through, but by default, it's active. Sasuke stepped forward, Sharingan activated and spinning. Fight me. I want to see if you're as strong as the rumors say. Naruto looked at the Uchiha with something resembling pity. You're not ready, Sasuke. Come back when you've got more than a name and a bloodline. The dismissal stung worse than an insult. Sasuke's hands clenched into fists, chakra flaring around his body. I'm an Uchiha. I've mastered fire-style jutsu that Chunin struggle with. I'm a prodigy. You're a child playing with matches, Naruto replied. I'm a wildfire. Before Sasuke could attack, Kakashi raised a hand. That's enough. He looked at each of his students in turn. Sakura confused and nervous, Sasuke angry and humiliated, Naruto calm and utterly unbothered. Naruto's right about one thing. This test was about teamwork. Specifically, it was about recognizing when you're outmatched and adapting accordingly. He held up the bells. Naruto doesn't need these because he's already demonstrated tactical thinking and combat ability far beyond Genin level. Sasuke, Sakura, you need to understand that being on a team means recognizing each other's strengths and weaknesses. Naruto's strength is overwhelming power. Your job is to support that, not compete with it. Sakura raised her hand hesitantly. So, we passed? You all passed. Kakashi pocketed the bells. Team 7 is officially active. We'll meet tomorrow morning for our first mission assignment. Naruto walked back to collect his matoi, slinging it onto his shoulder. What kind of missions? D rank to start. Standard Genin assignments. How long until we qualify for C rank? Kakashi's visible eyes studied Naruto carefully. Eager to leave the village? Eager to do something that matters, Naruto corrected. Chasing cats and painting fences doesn't protect anyone. Give it a month, complete enough D ranks without incident, and I'll push for a C rank mission. Naruto nodded once and walked away, his traditional clothing a stark contrast to the standard shinobi uniforms worn by his teammates. Sasuke watched him go, the Uchiha's pride still smarting from the casual dismissal. Kakashi-sensei! What exactly happened with Mizuki? Kakashi's expression turned serious. Naruto reduced a Chunin-level shinobi to ash with a single technique. The clearing where it happened is still too hot to enter without protection. The third Hokage classified the full details, but the basic facts are public knowledge now. He looked at both Genin. Naruto Uzumaki is the strongest Genin in Konoha's history, possibly stronger than some Jonin. You're on his team, which means you need to keep up or get out of his way. Sakura swallowed hard. Is he really that dangerous? To his enemies? Absolutely. Kakashi's eye crinkled. To his teammates? That depends on whether you earn his respect or waste his time. The month of D-rank missions passed slowly for Team 7. Naruto completed each task with minimal conversation, his efficiency making up for his lack of enthusiasm. He didn't chase the cat. He tracked its heat signature and retrieved it in under a minute. He didn't complain about painting fences. He heated the paint just enough to make it dry faster. Every mission was completed ahead of schedule, executed with the precision of someone who'd rather be anywhere else. Sasuke tried to challenge him 3 more times during that month. Each time, Naruto either ignored the provocation or ended the fight within seconds. Once, Sasuke had attempted a fire-style fireball jutsu in training. Naruto had raised his hand and absorbed the flames into his palm, extinguishing the technique before it could fully form. The humiliation of having his signature jutsu rendered useless drove Sasuke to train even harder, which only widened the gap between them. Sakura, to her credit, stopped viewing Naruto as the dead last after the first week. She began to study his movements, his tactical decisions, the way he positioned himself in every scenario to maximize his domain's effectiveness. She took notes. She asked questions. Naruto answered them with the same calm patience he showed everything else. And slowly, she began to understand that strength came in many forms. When the month ended, Kakashi called Team 7 to the Hokage's office. "You've been assigned a C-rank mission," Hiruzen announced, smoke curling from his pipe. "You'll be escorting a bridge builder named Tazuna to the Land of Waves. He needs protection during his journey home." The door opened, and an old man stumbled in, clearly drunk. "These are the ninja protecting me? They're children! And that one," he pointed at Naruto, "looks like he's dressed for a festival, not a mission." Naruto didn't react to the insult. His red-marked eyes simply assessed Tazuna, noting the calluses on his hands, the smell of sake, the nervous energy beneath the bluster. "He's lying about the mission rank," Naruto said flatly. Everyone turned to stare at him. "What?" Tazuna sputtered. "I don't know what you're." "You're scared," Naruto interrupted. "Your hands are shaking. You're drinking to build courage, and you keep glancing at the door like you expect someone to burst through it." He tilted his head slightly. "This isn't a simple escort mission. Who's after you?" Tazuna's facade crumbled. He slumped into a chair, suddenly looking much older. "Gato, a shipping magnate who's taken over the Land of Waves. He's hired ninja to stop the bridge I'm building. If it's completed, his stranglehold on the island's economy ends." "Ninja?" Kakashi's visible eye narrowed. "What level?" "I don't know. Maybe Chunin? I couldn't afford to list the real threat level. I barely had enough to hire Jinin." Tazuna looked at the floor. "I'm sorry. I know it's wrong to lie, but my people are dying. The bridge is their only hope." Hiruzen sighed, setting down his pipe. "This should be classified as a B-rank mission at minimum. Team 7 is not authorized." "I'll do it," Naruto said. Everyone looked at him again. "Naruto," Kakashi began, "this is beyond your team's current clearance." "I don't care about clearance levels." Naruto stepped toward Tazuna, his matoi tapping against the floor with each step. "You said your people are dying, that children are starving because one man controls all the resources." His eyes locked onto Tazuna's. "I'll help. Not for the village. Not for the mission rank. For the people who can't protect themselves." Tazuna stared at this strange boy with the marked eyes and traditional clothing. "You mean it? I don't make promises I can't keep." Kakashi exchanged a look with the Hokage. Hiruzen nodded almost imperceptibly. "Very well. Team 7 is authorized to proceed with the mission, reclassified as B rank. Kakashi, you're responsible for your students' safety." "Understood, Lord Hokage." As they left the office, Sasuke grabbed Naruto's arm. "Why did you volunteer us for a dangerous mission without asking?" Naruto looked at the hand on his arm, then at Sasuke's face. "Because it's the right thing to do. If you're only a shinobi for personal glory, you're in the wrong profession." He pulled his arm free and walked ahead, leaving Sasuke to contemplate the words. The journey to the Land of Waves took 3 days. On the second day, they encountered their first real threat. The mist rolled in without warning, thick and unnatural. Kakashi tensed immediately, his hand moving to his headband. "Everyone stay close. This is the hidden mist technique. Shapes moved in the fog, large, predatory, circling. "Where are they?" Sakura whispered, kunai trembling in her hand. Naruto yawned, reached for his matoi, and planted it in the ground. Everywhere. Then his body temperature spiked. Heat radiated from Naruto in waves, visible distortions in the air that spread outward in a sphere. Wherever the heat touched the mist, water vapor evaporated instantly. Within seconds, the entire area around Team 7 was clear, a bubble of visibility in an ocean of fog. "What the hell?" A voice echoed from the remaining mist. "That's not normal." Zabuza Momochi stepped into view, his massive executioner's blade resting on his shoulder. The missing nine's eyes widened when he saw Naruto, specifically the boy's eyes with their distinctive red markings. "A Keke Genkai," Zabuza muttered. "Figures. Can't have a simple assassination mission, can I?" "Assassination?" Kakashi stepped forward, lifting his headband to reveal his Sharingan. "So this is more than just stopping a bridge builder. Gato wants him dead. I'm here to make it happen." Zabuza's gaze shifted to Naruto. "But first I need to deal with the kid who ruined my technique." Naruto tilted his head slightly. "Your mist was too cold. Uncomfortable. Too cold?" Zabuza's grip tightened on his blade. "I'll show you cold, you little..." He vanished in a blur of motion, the body flicker technique carrying him behind Naruto. The executioner's blade swung down in a devastating arc meant to cleave the boy in half. The blade stopped 4 meters from Naruto's back, halted by an invisible wall of heat. Metal screeched as the edge began to glow red. Zabuza jerked the blade back, staring at the warped edge. "What kind of defense is that?" "Heat domain," Naruto explained, turning slowly to face the missing nin. 4 meters in every direction. Nothing enters without my permission." He reached back and pulled his matoi from the ground, spinning it once. "You should leave. This mission isn't worth dying for." Zabuza laughed, the sound harsh and mocking. "You think you can kill me, kid? I'm one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist." "I know." Naruto's expression remained calm. "That's why I'm giving you a chance to run." The air around Naruto's hands began to shimmer. Crimson flames ignited across his palms, spreading up his forearms in spiraling patterns. The heat intensified, warping the air so severely that Zabuza's outline seemed to waver. "Fire style?" Zabuza grinned. "Water beats fire, kid. Everyone knows that." He formed hand seals with practiced speed. "Water style, water dragon jutsu." Chakra-infused water erupted from a nearby puddle, forming into a massive serpentine dragon that roared toward Naruto. The attack was enormous, easily capable of crushing a house. Naruto raised both hands. The water dragon hit the heat domain and began to steam. Hissing filled the air as gallons of water evaporated on contact with temperatures that rivaled forge fires. The dragon's head reached Naruto, its jaws opened wide, and Naruto caught it. His hands plunged into the water construct, flames still burning. Steam exploded outward in all directions, obscuring everyone's vision. When it cleared, Naruto stood in the same position, completely dry, while water dripped harmlessly around him. "I told you," Naruto said quietly, "water doesn't work on me." Zabuza's confidence wavered. He'd put significant chakra into that technique, and this genin had neutralized it with raw heat manipulation. "What are you?" "Someone who doesn't like the cold," Naruto repeated. He swung his matoi, the heavy pole whistling through the air. "Last chance, leave or I'll make you leave." Zabuza's pride wouldn't allow retreat. He charged forward, executioner's blade raised for a horizontal slash. He enhanced his speed with chakra, moving faster than most jonin could track. Naruto didn't dodge. He stepped into the attack, matoi sweeping up to meet the descending blade. Metal clanged against wood and steel, the impact creating a shock wave that kicked up dust. Zabuza pushed harder, trying to overpower this strange genin with brute force. The executioner's blade cracked. Zabuza's eyes widened as hairline fractures appeared along his legendary weapon's edge. The heat from Naruto's domain was weakening the metal, making it brittle. He jumped back, staring at the damage. "My blade." Zabuza's voice was almost reverent with shock. Naruto swung his matoi in a wide arc, then thrust the bottom end into the ground. Flames erupted from the point of impact, spreading in a circle around him. "You're strong, Zabuza Momochi, one of the 7 swordsmen, a legend of the hidden mist." He pulled the matoi free, crimson fire dancing along its length. "But you're still just a man, and I'm something else." Naruto's right hand moved in the familiar ai motion, flames igniting into a blade shape. EI hand sword, daybreak. The technique was a rising slash, flames erupting upward in a crescent that tore through the ground between them. Zabuza tried to dodge, but the attack's speed was inhuman. Flames caught his shoulder, burning through his jonin vest and scorching skin. Zabuza stumbled, pain clouding his judgment. He formed more hand seals, desperate now. Water style, water prison. Naruto vanished, not with a body flicker, not with chakra enhancement. He simply moved faster than Zabuza could perceive, crossing the distance between them in a single bound. His matoi swung in a horizontal arc, catching Zabuza in the ribs. The impact sent Zabuza flying backward, his body tumbling across the ground before slamming into a tree. Ribs cracked from the force. Blood filled his mouth. Hysterical strength, Kakashi murmured, his Sharingan tracking Naruto's movements. Unlocked permanently. That's not something taught. It's something lived through. Naruto walked toward the fallen swordsman, matoi resting on his shoulder. The flames around his hands had intensified, burning brighter than before. You're outmatched, Zabuza. Your water techniques don't work. Your blade is damaged, and you're already injured. He stopped a few feet away. Surrender or die? Choose. Zabuza coughed blood, his vision swimming. Pride warred with survival instinct. He'd never surrendered before. It's never backed down from a fight. But this wasn't a fight. This was an execution waiting to happen. Who are you really? Zabuza asked, his voice weak. No genin has this kind of power. Naruto Uzumaki, genin of Konoha, fire user. Naruto's red-marked eyes reflected the flames still dancing on his hands, and someone who doesn't believe in mercy for people who hunt children. He raised his hand for the killing blow. A senbon needle struck Naruto's neck, or tried to. The needle melted 3 meters from Naruto's body, liquefied metal droplets falling harmlessly to the ground. Naruto's head turned toward the source, his expression unchanged. A figure in a hunter nin mask stood in the trees, their body trembling slightly. Please, the masked figure said, their voice young and uncertain. Don't kill him. Naruto studied the newcomer, his heat sense reading their body temperature, their elevated heart rate, the fear barely concealed beneath the mask. Hunter nin don't ask. They execute targets and move on. The masked figure flinched. I'm not really a hunter nin. Obviously. Naruto lowered his hand slightly. Who are you? The figure dropped from the tree, landing between Naruto and Zabuza. My name is Haku. I serve Zabuza-sama. Please let me take him and leave. We won't interfere with your mission again. Haku, Zabuza coughed, trying to push himself up. Don't beg. Zabuza-sama needs medical attention, Haku continued, ignoring the older ninja's protest. If you kill him, I'll have no choice but to fight you, and I don't want to die. Naruto's flames extinguished. Why do you serve him? He saved my life when I had nothing. He gave me purpose. Haku's voice was quiet but firm. I know he's done terrible things. Look, I know he's a missing 9, but he's the only family I have. For the first time since the fight began, Naruto's expression softened slightly. Family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's the people who see you as human when everyone else sees a weapon. He looked at Zabuza. You're lucky your tool cares about you. Most people who treat others as objects don't get that kind of loyalty. He stepped aside, creating a path. Take him. Leave the land of waves. If I see either of you again, I won't hesitate. Haku bowed deeply. Thank you. She helped Zabuza to his feet, supporting his weight as they retreated into the remaining mist. Before they disappeared completely, Haku looked back. You're strong, she said, but strength without purpose is just destruction. I hope you find something worth protecting beyond just yourself. Then they were gone. Kakashi approached Naruto, his Sharingan still active. You let them go. He was beaten. Killing him would have been pointless. Naruto planted his matoi in the ground, using it as a support. Besides, that kid Haku reminded me of someone. Who? Me, a few years ago. Naruto's red-marked eyes stared into the dissipating mist. Before I decided what kind of person I wanted to be, Sasuke stepped forward, his fists clenched. You had them beaten and you just let them walk away? What if they come back? What if they attack us again? Then I'll kill them, Naruto said simply. But today they lost. They know they lost. And that kid learned that loyalty doesn't have to mean dying for someone else's mission. He looked at Sasuke. Sometimes mercy is the strongest message you can send. Sakura raised her hand tentatively. Naruto, that technique you used. The one that evaporated the water dragon. How does it work? My body generates heat constantly. I can amplify it within my domain, raising the temperature high enough to boil water, melt metal, or ignite anything flammable. He gestured to the scorched ground where the battle had taken place. The heat is invisible, but it's always there, 4 meters in every direction. So you're untouchable, Sasuke said bitterly. No, I'm selective. Naruto pulled his matoi free and started walking toward Tazuna. Let's keep moving, we've wasted enough time. They reached the land of waves by evening. Tazuna's home was modest but welcoming, his daughter Tsunami greeting them with warm food and quiet gratitude. Her son Inari, a young boy with sad eyes, watched Naruto with poorly concealed curiosity. Why do you dress like that? Inari asked during dinner, pointing at Naruto's traditional clothing. Because I don't like modern shinobi uniforms, Naruto replied, setting down his chopsticks. Too restricting. This style lets me move freely. Are you really that strong? Grandfather said you beat Zabuza. I am. Inari's expression soured. You're lying. Heroes don't exist. Strong people just die trying to save others. Naruto studied the boy for a long moment. You lost someone. It wasn't a question. Inari's eyes filled with tears. My father, he tried to stand up to Gato. They killed him in front of everyone. Made an example. His small hands clenched. That's what happens when you try to be a hero. You just die. Your father wasn't stupid, Naruto said quietly. He was brave. There's a difference. Bravery got him killed. And cowardice would have gotten your whole family killed slowly. Naruto leaned back, his red-marked eyes reflecting the lamplight. Your father chose how he died. He chose to stand up, to fight back, to show people that resistance was possible. That's not stupidity. That's strength. Inari wiped his eyes. But he's gone. What good is being remembered if you're dead? Because memories inspire others to keep fighting. Naruto stood, collecting his bowl. Your father's death wasn't the end. It was a spark, and sparks start fires. He left Inari sitting at the table, like the boy's mind churning with thoughts he tried to bury. The bridge construction continued under Team 7's protection. 2 weeks passed without incident, but Naruto's heat sense detected watchers in the fog at the island's edges. Haku and Zabuza hadn't left. They were planning something. On the 14th day, as dawn broke over the incomplete bridge, Haku appeared. She wore her hunter nin mask, but her body language was different, tense, prepared for battle. Ice mirrors began to form around the bridge, reflecting surfaces that multiplied until Team 7 was surrounded by a dome of frozen water. I'm sorry, Haku said, her voice carrying through the mirrors. Zabuza-sama's pride demands that we complete our mission. I have to fight you. Sasuke activated his Sharingan, tracking the reflections. I can see her moving between mirrors. If I time it right, step back, Naruto said calmly. What? I said step back. This isn't your fight. Naruto walked into the center of the ice mirror dome, Matoi planted beside him. He looked up at the reflective surfaces, seeing Haku's image duplicated dozens of times. Demonic ice mirrors, Naruto observed. Advanced ice release technique. You create frozen surfaces that you can move between at high speed, attacking from multiple angles while your opponent struggles to track you. You understand the technique? Haku sounded surprised. I understand that ice is just frozen water, and water evaporates. Naruto raised his right hand. I gave you a chance to walk away, Haku. You should have taken it. Haku launched Senbon from 3 mirrors simultaneously. The needles aimed at Naruto's vital points. They melted mid-flight, liquefied metal droplets hitting the ground harmlessly. Impossible, Haku whispered. The heat shouldn't affect them that quickly. Naruto's body temperature spiked. The temperature inside the ice mirror dome jumped dramatically, heat radiating from Naruto in waves that distorted the air. The ice mirrors began to crack, their surfaces developing spiderweb fractures that spread rapidly. Ice is vulnerable to heat, Naruto said, his voice carrying unusual coldness despite the warmth he radiated. Your technique is impressive, but it's based on maintaining frozen water. I don't allow ice near me. The mirrors shattered, all of them simultaneously, exploding outward in a spray of water droplets that evaporated before hitting the ground. Haku fell from her position between mirrors, landing hard on the bridge's wooden surface. She tried to rise, but her body was overheating, sweat pouring down her face beneath the mask. How can you generate that much heat? Practice. Naruto walked toward her, Matoi resting on his shoulder. And genetic advantage. I was born to control fire. Haku. Everything else just burns. Haku struggled to her feet, forming hand seals for another technique. Ice began to form around her hands, needles crystallizing from moisture in the air. Naruto raised his left hand and released a pulse of heat. The ice never finished forming. Haku's chakra dissipated, unable to maintain the technique in temperatures that high. She fell to her knees, exhausted and defeated. I lose, she whispered, pulling off her mask. Beneath it was a young face, androgynous and beautiful, marked by determination and resignation. Kill me. I failed, Zabuza-sama. I have no purpose left. Naruto stared down at her, his red-marked eyes unreadable. No. What? I'm not going to kill you. He planted his Matoi beside her. You fight for someone you care about. That's not evil. It's just misguided. Misguided? Haku looked up, confusion clear in her expression. Zabuza doesn't care about you the way you care about him. You're a tool to him, something useful but replaceable. Naruto crouched to meet her eyes. But you could be more. You could choose what you fight for instead of following someone else's mission. I have nowhere else to go. No one else who wants me. Then stay here. Naruto gestured to the bridge, to the land of waves beyond. Help build instead of destroy. Protect instead of hunt. Tazuna's people need someone with your skills. Be their shield instead of Gado's sword. Haku's eyes widened. You want me to betray Zabuza-sama? I want you to save yourself before his pride gets you killed. Naruto stood, offering his hand. You told me that strength without purpose is just destruction. Find a better purpose than dying for someone who sees you as a weapon. For a long moment, Haku stared at the offered hand. Then slowly she reached up and took it. Naruto pulled her to her feet. Where's Zabuza? On the other end of the bridge, fighting your sensei. Then let's end this. Kakashi and Zabuza's battle had transformed the bridge into a war zone. Water techniques clashed with earth defenses, the two jonin moving at speeds that left after images. Zabuza's executioner's blade, still cracked from his previous fight with Naruto, struggled against Kakashi's Sharingan-enhanced combat style. Give up, Zabuza, Kakashi said, his visible eye tracking every movement. You're injured, your blade is damaged, and your partner abandoned you. Haku would never. Zabuza's protest died when he saw Haku walking toward them with Naruto. The girl's mask was gone, her expression apologetic but resolute. I'm sorry, Zabuza-sama, Haku said quietly, but I can't die for your pride anymore. Zabuza's face contorted with rage and betrayal. You ungrateful. I saved you. I gave you purpose. You gave me orders, Haku corrected. Naruto-san gave me a choice. Zabuza turned his fury on Naruto. You turned my tool against me. She was never your tool, Naruto replied, his voice flat. She was a person who deserved better than being treated like a weapon. I'll kill you, Zabuza charged, his damaged blade raised high despite his injuries and exhaustion. Naruto didn't move. His right hand swept across his body in the Iai motion, flames igniting into the familiar blade shape. Iai hand sword, fire moon. The crescent of crimson fire erupted from his hand, larger and more intense than before. It tore through the space between them, moving too fast for Zabuza to dodge in his weakened state. The flames caught Zabuza's legs, burning through cloth and into skin. He screamed, collapsing as his momentum carried him forward into a tumbling roll. When he stopped, smoke rose from his burned legs, the smell of charred flesh filling the air. Naruto walked toward the fallen swordsman, Matoi in hand. Stay down, Zabuza. You've lost. Your mission failed, your student left you, and you're too injured to fight. Zabuza tried to push himself up, but his legs wouldn't support his weight. Damn you! Damn you! Pathetic! Naruto planted his Matoi beside Zabuza's head, the heavy pole sinking into the wooden bridge with a solid thunk. You talk about strength and pride, but you couldn't protect anything. Not the Mist Village, not Haku, not even yourself. He turned to walk away, then paused. Someone will probably come for you, either Mist Hunter Nin or whoever else wants you dead. I'd recommend leaving the land of waves before they arrive. Why are you letting me live? Zabuza spat blood onto the bridge. I tried to kill you. I killed your client's people. Why not finish it? Because killing you changes nothing. You're already finished. Naruto's red-marked eyes glanced back. Die here if you want. Live and find something better to fight for. I don't care which you choose. A slow clap echoed across the bridge, Gato emerged from the far end, flanked by over 100 mercenaries and thugs. The short businessman wore expensive clothes and a cruel smile. What a touching scene! The legendary demon of the mist brought low by a child. And Zabuza, you fool, you couldn't even kill an old bridge builder. He gestured to his men. Kill them all. The bridge builder, the ninja, everyone. I'll find someone more competent too. Fire Moon. Naruto's hand swept through the air. A spinning wheel of crimson flames erupted from his palm, rolling across the bridge toward Gato's army. The mercenaries screamed, trying to scatter, but the attack was too wide and too fast. Flames consumed the front ranks instantly, reducing men to ash before they could scream. The wheel of fire kept spinning, kept burning, a relentless force that Gato's hired thugs had no defense against. Within seconds, half of Gato's army was gone. The survivors broke and ran, terror overriding greed. They threw down their weapons and fled, some jumping off the bridge into the water below rather than face those crimson flames. Gato stood alone, his bodyguards having abandoned him. Naruto walked toward the businessman, his steps measured and calm. You enslaved an island. You starved children. You hired killers to murder someone trying to help his people. Gato stumbled backward, his face pale. Wait, I can pay you. Whatever Tazuna offered, I'll triple it. Quadruple. Name your price. I'm not for sale. Naruto's hand ignited with flames. He didn't use a technique, didn't call out a move name. He simply grabbed Gato by the throat, his fingers burning through cloth and into skin. Gato's scream was brief. When Naruto released him, the body that fell wasn't recognizable as human anymore, just charred meat that had once been a man. The bridge was silent, except for the crackling of dying flames and the sound of waves below. Naruto turned to Tazuna, who stood frozen in shock. Your bridge is safe now. Finish building it. Tazuna nodded mutely, unable to form words. Haku knelt beside Zabuza, helping the injured swordsman sit up. What will you do now, Zabuza-sama? Zabuza stared at Gato's remains, then at Naruto, then at the bridge that represented hope for an enslaved people. I don't know, he admitted quietly. I've been fighting for so long, I forgot there could be something else. Then figure it out somewhere else, Kakashi said, approaching with his Sharingan covered again. Naruto gave you a chance. Don't waste it. Zabuza nodded slowly. With Haku's help, he stood on his burned legs and began limping toward the bridge's exit. Before leaving, he looked back at Naruto. You're strong, kid. Stronger than me. Maybe stronger than anyone in the mist. His expression was complicated, respect mixed with bitterness. Don't let that strength corrupt you. I've seen what happens when power becomes the only thing that matters. I know what matters, Naruto replied, and it's not power. Zabuza and Haku disappeared into the fog, leaving Team 7 and Tazuna alone on the bridge. Inari ran onto the bridge, tears streaming down his face. You did it! You actually did it! Gato is gone and the bridge is safe and... He crashed into Naruto, hugging the older boy tightly. Naruto stiffened at the unexpected contact, then slowly, awkwardly, patted Inari's head. You're getting my clothes wet. I don't care! Inari looked up with red-rimmed eyes. You're a real hero, just like my father. I'm not a hero, Naruto said quietly. I just don't like bullies. But Inari wasn't listening. He was already running back toward the village, shouting about how the evil businessman was dead and the bridge would be finished and they were free. Sakura approached Naruto carefully. That was intense. You killed all those people without hesitation. They chose their side. I chose mine. Naruto pulled his Matoi from the bridge, inspecting it for damage. This is what being a shinobi means, making decisions and living with the consequences. Do you feel anything? Sakura asked. When you kill someone, Naruto considered the question. Relief that they can't hurt anyone else. Sometimes regret that it had to happen, but never guilt for protecting people who can't protect themselves. Sasuke had been silent during the exchange, his Sharingan memorizing every technique Naruto had used. Those fire techniques, they're not standard fire-style jutsu. Where did you learn them? I didn't learn them. I created them. Naruto started walking back toward Tazuna's house. Fire is part of who I am. The techniques are just expressions of that nature. Can you teach me? No. Sasuke's jaw clenched. Why not? Because you don't have the foundation. You create fire with chakra. I create fire because I exist. Naruto glanced back. It's like asking a bird to teach you how to grow wings. Some things can't be taught. The answer frustrated Sasuke, but he couldn't argue with the logic. His Sharingan could copy techniques, but it couldn't replicate Kekkei Genkai. And Naruto's abilities were fundamentally different from anything the Uchiha had encountered. They stayed in the Land of Waves for another week, while Tazuna completed the bridge. Naruto spent most of that time training alone, practicing techniques that pushed his pyrokinetic abilities to new levels. His domain expanded slightly, reaching 4.5 meters. His fire moon technique gained more precision, allowing him to carve specific shapes instead of just creating crescents. On the final day, as Team 7 prepared to leave, the entire village gathered to see them off. Tazuna unveiled a plaque at the bridge's center. "The Great Naruto Bridge," he announced proudly, "named for the ninja who gave us hope when we had none." Naruto stared at the plaque, his expression unreadable. "You named it after me?" "You saved us," Tsunami said, her son Inari standing beside her. "You gave us freedom. This bridge represents a new beginning for the Land of Waves, and it exists because of you. I just did what was right." "That's what makes you a hero," Inari said, grinning widely. Naruto looked at the child, at the hope in his eyes that hadn't been there 2 weeks ago, and something shifted in his expression. Not quite a smile, but close. "Take care of each other," Naruto said, "and if anyone tries to take your freedom again, don't wait for heroes. Be your own." As Team 7 crossed the bridge, now properly named the Great Naruto Bridge, Kakashi walked beside his most powerful student. "You changed this place," the Jonin observed, "not just by defeating Gato, but by showing them that resistance was possible." "Resistance is always possible," Naruto replied. "People just forget sometimes." "Is that why you refuse to follow orders? Why you don't want to be Hokage?" "I don't want to be Hokage because the title is a leash. The village leaders serve the system, not the people. I prefer to choose who I protect." Kakashi chuckled. "You're going to cause problems when we get back to Konoha." "Probably. Looking forward to it." Naruto's lips twitched in what might have been the start of a smile. "Ask me after the Chunin exams." The Chunin exams announcement came 2 weeks after Team 7 returned to Konoha. Kakashi recommended all 3 of his students despite their limited experience, citing their performance in the Land of Waves as proof of readiness. Naruto accepted the recommendation with the same calm indifference he showed everything else. Sakura was nervous, but determined. Sasuke saw it as an opportunity to prove himself against stronger opponents. The first exam was a written test designed to measure information gathering skills. Naruto solved it by heating the air around his paper just enough to create subtle thermal distortions that he could read like ripples in water, detecting where other students were writing and copying their answers. He finished in 20 minutes and spent the rest of the time staring out the window. The second exam took place in the Forest of Death. Anko Mitarashi, the proctor, grinned sadistically at the assembled genin. "This is the Forest of Death. You'll have 5 days to retrieve a scroll from another team and reach the tower at the forest center. Half of you won't make it." She paused dramatically. "Any questions?" Naruto raised his hand. "Can we kill other teams?" Anko's grin widened. "Absolutely. In fact, I encourage it. This is a test of survival, not friendship." "Good." Naruto lowered his hand. Team 7 received an earth scroll and entered through Gate 12. The forest was dense, hot, and filled with predatory animals and hostile teams. They made it 30 minutes before Orochimaru appeared. The Sannin dropped from the trees like a pale serpent, his golden eyes fixed on Sasuke with predatory hunger. "Sasuke clutched potential. I've been watching you." Naruto stepped between them, Matoi in hand. "Move aside, kid." "No," Naruto said flatly. Orochimaru's smile widened, revealing 2 long teeth. "How brave, but you're not my target. Step aside and I'll let you live." "Last chance. Leave." "Or what?" Orochimaru's neck extended impossibly, his face shooting forward with serpentine speed towards Sasuke. Naruto's right hand moved in the Ei motion. Ei hand sword, Crimson Moon. The circular blast of crimson flames erupted from Naruto's palm, catching Orochimaru's extended neck mid-strike. Fire engulfed the Sannin's face, burning through flesh to reveal white scales underneath. Orochimaru screamed, a sound more animal than human. He retracted his neck, face half burned, regenerating tissue already spreading across the damaged areas. "What are you?" Orochimaru hissed, his voice distorted with pain and fury. a pest exterminator. Naruto's domain flared, heat radiating outward in visible waves. You target children because you're too weak to face real opponents. That makes you a pest. Orochimaru formed hand seals with inhuman speed. Wind style, great breakthrough. A massive gust of wind erupted from his mouth, strong enough to uproot trees. Naruto raised both hands. The wind fed his flames. Fire exploded outward in a roaring inferno, using the oxygen from Orochimaru's technique to create a firestorm that engulfed the surrounding area. Trees ignited instantly. The ground scorched black, and Orochimaru, caught in the center of flames that burned hotter than any natural fire, screamed again. When the flames cleared, the Sannin was gone, fled into the forest, his body too damaged to continue fighting. Naruto lowered his hands, the forest around them still burning. Weak. Sasuke stared at the destruction, his Sharingan spinning as it tried to memorize techniques that couldn't be copied. That was Orochimaru, one of the legendary Sannin, and you just drove him away. He's a snake. Snakes flee when they're outmatched. Naruto planted his matoi in the scorched ground. Let's find a heaven scroll and get to the tower. This forest is boring. They encountered 3 more teams over the next 2 days. Naruto defeated all of them with minimal effort. A pulse of heat to disable chakra techniques, precise fire moon attacks to destroy weapons, and his overwhelming physical strength when close combat was necessary. By the end of the 2nd day, Team 7 had both scrolls and was approaching the tower. This was supposed to be difficult. Sakura observed as they walked through the forest unmolested. But with Naruto here, it's like we're not even taking an exam. That's because most genin rely on standard techniques, Kakashi explained, appearing beside them despite not being allowed in the forest. He'd been shadowing his team, worried about Orochimaru's presence. Naruto's abilities counter almost everything taught at the academy level. His heat domain alone makes him nearly invincible against genin. Nearly, Sasuke challenged. There are still techniques that could hurt him. Genjutsu, since it doesn't rely on physical attacks. Poison, if delivered before entering his domain. Overwhelming force from someone much stronger. Kakashi's visible eye studied Naruto. But at the genin level, he's untouchable. They reached the tower with 3 days to spare. The preliminary matches were held in a large arena beneath the tower. 21 genin had passed the 2nd exam, meaning one would advance automatically while the others fought to reduce the number to an acceptable level for the finals. Naruto's name appeared on the board opposite Kiba Inuzuka. Kiba grinned confidently, Akamaru perched on his head. Finally! I've been waiting to prove that all those rumors about you are exaggerated. Naruto walked to the center of the arena, hands in his pockets, matoi resting across his shoulders. Start whenever you want. Kiba and Akamaru charged immediately, the Inuzuka boy's feral style relying on speed and aggression. Fang over fang! Both Kiba and Akamaru began spinning, creating twin drilling attacks that tore toward Naruto from different angles. Naruto didn't move. Akamaru hit the heat domain first. The dog yelped, his spinning attack faltering as heat scorched his fur. He tumbled out of the technique, landing several feet away and refusing to approach again. Animal instincts screamed danger around fire. Kiba, committed to his attack, continued spinning toward Naruto. Naruto caught the spinning Kiba with one hand, stopping the Inuzuka's rotation instantly. His fingers dug into Kiba's shoulder, holding him in place despite the boy's enhanced strength and momentum. Your dog is smarter than you, Naruto observed. Then he used trajectory control, manipulating heat to alter the direction of moving objects to redirect Kiba's residual momentum. The Inuzuka flipped through the air and slammed into the arena floor with bone-jarring force. Kiba groaned, trying to stand. His vision swam, his ribs ached. Naruto was already walking away. Proctor, call it. He's done. Hayate Gecko, the sickly Proctor, coughed and raised his hand. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki. Akamaru ran to Kiba's side, then did something unexpected. The dog approached Naruto and licked his hand, tail wagging. Naruto looked down at the nin dog. What? Akamaru respects strength, Kiba muttered from the floor, being helped to the stands by medics. He only does that for people he thinks are pack leaders. Naruto scratched behind Akamaru's ears once, then continued back to the stands. The dog watched him go with what might have been admiration. Other matches proceeded. Sasuke defeated Yoroi Akado by copying his chakra absorption technique and using it better. Sakura lost to Ino in a close match that came down to physical combat after their mental battle ended in a draw. Shikamaru defeated Ken with superior tactical thinking. Neji dominated Hinata, nearly killing her before Proctor intervention. That final match made Naruto's eyes narrow. When the matches concluded, 8 fighters remained for the finals. Naruto, Sasuke, Neji, Gaara, Shikamaru, Tamari, Kankuro, and Dosu. The final match pairings were announced. Naruto versus Neji in the first round. Neji approached Naruto after the announcement, his Byakugan active. "I've been watching you. Your chakra network is abnormal, massive reserves, irregularly flowing, and your eyes." He studied the red markings. "They're not a dojutsu, just cosmetic." "So?" Naruto replied. "So you're not as special as you think. Fate determined your strength just as it determined my position in the Hyuga clan. You cannot escape what you were born to be." Naruto's expression didn't change. "I don't believe in fate. I believe in fire. Then I'll prove you wrong in the finals." Neji turned to leave. "Fate has already decided the outcome of our match." Naruto watched him go, then spoke quietly. "Fire doesn't care about fate. It just burns." The month between preliminaries and finals passed in intensive training for most genin. Sasuke worked with Kakashi on developing his speed. Sakura studied medical ninjutsu under Tsunade, who'd recently returned to the village. Shikamaru developed new shadow techniques. Naruto trained alone, as always. He practiced his ultimate technique, Crimson Moon Sun Wheel, attempting to perfect the combination attack that required split-second timing and perfect chakra control. The technique was devastating but dangerous, requiring him to generate 2 opposing flame types simultaneously and merge them mid-attack. Hiruzen visited him once during this time, watching from a distance as Naruto created spiraling vortexes of red and gold fire that scorched the training ground. "That technique could destroy half the arena," the Hokage observed. "I know," Naruto replied without stopping his practice. "That's why I'm learning to control it." The council is concerned about your power. They want to place restrictions on what techniques you can use during the finals. Naruto's flames intensified. "No. They're worried you'll kill your opponent. Then my opponent should forfeit." Naruto extinguished the flames and turned to face Hiruzen. "I'm not holding back to make the council feel better. If Neji dies because he can't handle my strength, that's his choice for fighting me." Hiruzen sighed, suddenly looking very old. "You're so much like your father. He had that same absolute confidence." "I'm nothing like the 4th Hokage," Naruto said quietly. "He sacrificed himself for the village. I would never do that." "Why not?" "Because the village didn't earn it. They've hated me, feared me, called me demon my entire life." Naruto's red-marked eyes met Hiruzen's gaze. "I don't die for people who see me as a weapon. I protect the ones who see me as human." "And who are those people?" "Iruka-sensei, Tochi and Ayame at Ichiraku, Sakura, now that she's stopped being shallow." Naruto paused. "And maybe Hinata Hyuga, though she's too shy to talk to me directly." Hiruzen raised an eyebrow. "Hinata? She's been watching me since we were children, not with fear or hatred, with curiosity and something else." Naruto shrugged. "I don't understand it, but I don't hate her for it." "She admires you," Hiruzen explained gently. "Has for years. You probably remind her that strength can exist outside the clan system she's trapped in." Naruto considered this. "Then I hope she finds her own strength. Admiration is fine, but dependence on others is weakness." The Hokage left shortly after, and Naruto returned to his training. The day of the finals arrived with celebration and ceremony. The arena was packed with civilians, foreign dignitaries, and shinobi from multiple villages. The Kazekage sat in the Kage box beside Hiruzen, though Naruto's heat sense detected something wrong with the man's body temperature. Too cold, too artificial. The first match was announced. Naruto Uzumaki versus Neji Hyuga. They stood across from each other in the center of the arena, the crowd's murmur dying to anticipatory silence. "You cannot win," Neji stated, his Byakugan active. "Fate has already determined the outcome. I am a genius of the Hyuga clan. You are merely a genin with unusual abilities." Naruto planted his matoi in the ground beside him. "Let's see if you can rotate this." Neji assumed the gentle fist stance, his movements precise and practiced. 8 trigrams, 64 palms. He charged forward with blinding speed. his hands striking toward Naruto's chakra points with surgical precision. Each strike was designed to seal chakra flow, to disable his opponent through the Hyuga clan's legendary taijutsu. Every strike failed. Neiji's hands couldn't reach Naruto. They stopped 4 meters away, halted by the invisible heat domain, and with each failed strike, Neiji's hands blistered from the ambient temperature. Impossible! Neji jumped back, staring at his reddened palms. My Byakugan can see chakra, but there's nothing blocking my strikes. Not chakra, Naruto explained calmly. Heat. My domain exists at a temperature high enough to burn skin on contact. You can't touch me, Neji. Neji formed a different stance. Then I'll use rotation. 8 trigrams. Rotation! He spun rapidly, creating a sphere of chakra that deflected attacks and created a defensive barrier. The technique was legendary among the Hyuga clan, nearly unbreakable against conventional jutsu. Naruto raised both hands. His right hand ignited with deep crimson flames that swirled in a circular pattern, crimson moon. His left hand ignited with golden-orange flames that formed a ring, sun wheel. Behind Naruto, a massive red moon began to materialize in the sky above the arena, its reflection visible in the startled faces of spectators. What is that? Someone in the crowd whispered. It's beautiful. Another breathed. Naruto brought his hands together, the two flame types spiraling around each other. Red and gold merged, creating a vortex of fire that seemed to contain the essence of both sunset and sunrise simultaneously. Crimson moon, sun wheel. He threw his matoi high into the air, then jumped. In mid-flight, Naruto combined both flame techniques into a single spiraling attack that grew as it descended. The flames formed the image of a giant red moon, with a golden sun overlapping it, the two celestial bodies merging into something beyond natural. The attack hit the arena floor with devastating force. The impact crater spread outward in concentric circles, stone shattering and fragmenting from the heat and pressure. Neiji's rotation shattered on contact, his defensive technique overwhelmed by sheer power. The Hyuga was blown across the arena, tumbling through the air before slamming into the far wall hard enough to crack stone. When the dust cleared, Naruto stood in the center of a massive crater, his matoi planted beside him, embers falling around him like crimson snow. The entire arena was silent. Neji lay half buried in rubble, unconscious, steam rising from his body where the heat had affected him even through his rotation. Hayate Gecko, the proctor, stared at the destruction for a long moment before raising his hand. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki. The crowd erupted. Some cheered, some screamed in fear, some simply stared, unable to process what they'd witnessed. In the Kage box, Hiruzen leaned forward. That technique, it's beyond anything I've seen from a Jonin. The Kazekage, actually Orochimaru in disguise, watched with barely concealed fascination. That boy is dangerous, more dangerous than the 9 tails inside him. Naruto walked to where Neji lay, offering his hand. You talk about fate, but you can't even handle a little heat. Your fate is what you make it, and you made yourself weak by believing you couldn't change. Neji's eyes fluttered open, his Byakugan deactivated. I lost? Yes, but fate doesn't exist. Naruto pulled Neji to his feet. You're strong, you're skilled, but you let ideology make you brittle. Fire doesn't care about your destiny. It just burns until there's nothing left to burn. Neji stared at this strange Jonin with the marked eyes and overwhelming power. Who are you really? Someone who refuses to accept limitations. Naruto released Neji's hand. Figure out what you want to be, then become it. Your clan, your fate, your branch family status, all of it is just an excuse to stay weak. He walked away, leaving Neji standing in the rubble, the Hyuga's worldview crumbling faster than the arena floor. Medical teams rushed to repair the arena while the next match was prepared. The destruction from Naruto's technique was so severe that they had to delay the remaining matches by an hour. Hiruzen called Naruto to the Kage box during this delay. That technique, the Hokage said carefully, was far beyond Jonin level. How long have you been able to perform it? 2 weeks, Naruto admitted. I've been practicing the combination for years, but I only achieved stable fusion recently. It's too dangerous to use casually, I know. That's why I only use it against worthy opponents. Naruto glanced at the destroyed arena floor. Neji deserved to face my full strength. Anything less would have been insulting. Orochimaru, still disguised as the Kazekage, leaned forward. Tell me, young Uzumaki, Where did you learn such advanced fire techniques? Naruto's red-marked eyes fixed on the false Kazekage. I created them. They're mine. Fascinating. Such talent wasted in Konoha. Orochimaru's smile was too wide beneath the Kazekage's face. Perhaps you'd be interested in training under someone who could truly appreciate your abilities. No. Naruto's tone was flat, final. I don't need teachers, and I definitely don't need snakes pretending to be Kage. The temperature in the box dropped. Orochimaru's disguise flickered briefly before stabilizing. What did you say? Your body temperature is wrong. Too cold, and your chakra smells like snake. Naruto stood, his hand resting on his matoi. You're Orochimaru, the same coward who fled from me in the forest of death. Hiruzen's hand moved to his kunai pouch. Orochimaru. Now, Orochimaru said, dropping the pretense entirely. His face shifted, revealing pale skin and golden eyes. I didn't come to fight, just to observe, and perhaps recruit. Sound and sand forces are already in position, Naruto observed, his heat sense detecting chakra signatures moving into attack formation throughout the village. This isn't recruitment, it's invasion. Orochimaru's smile widened. Perceptive. Yes, we're going to destroy Konoha, burn it to the ground, and rebuild something better from the ashes. He gestured to Naruto. Join me. With your power and my knowledge, we could reshape the shinobi world. No. Why not? Konoha hates you. They fear you. They see you as the demon fox rather than the person who protects them. True, Naruto agreed, but there are people in Konoha worth protecting. Iruka-sensei, Tochi and Ayame, Sakura, Hinata. His flames began to ignite across his hands. And I don't need to destroy the village to protect them. I just need to destroy you. Orochimaru laughed. You couldn't kill me in the forest. I didn't want to kill you then. Now I do. The temperature spiked. Orochimaru's Sound 4 bodyguards appeared, creating a barrier around the Kage box. Kill the Hokage! Orochimaru commanded. I'll handle the boy. Naruto's right hand swept through the air in the eye motion. Fire Moon. A spinning wheel of crimson flames erupted from his palm, tearing through two of the Sound 4 before they could react. Their bodies turned to ash, barrier technique collapsing. Retreat! Orochimaru grabbed Hiruzen, a kunai to the elderly Hokage's throat. Follow me and he dies. Naruto started forward anyway. Orochimaru's eyes widened. Did you not hear me? I'll kill him. Then kill him, Naruto said coldly. He's not one of my people. Hiruzen's expression was calm despite the blade at his throat. Naruto, it's fine. Protect the village. I'm not protecting the village. That I'm protecting specific people. Naruto's flames intensified. You just happen to be in the way of my target. Orochimaru realized his mistake. Naruto Uzumaki couldn't be controlled through hostages. The boy simply didn't care about anyone outside his chosen circle. The Sannin fled, taking Hiruzen with him, the remaining Sound Ninja covering his retreat. Naruto watched them go, then jumped from the Kage box into the arena below. The invasion had begun. Sound and Sand Ninja poured into the village, attacking civilians and shinobi alike. But Naruto didn't chase Orochimaru. He ran toward the civilian district, toward Ichiraku Ramen, toward the people he'd sworn to protect. Tochi's ramen stand was under attack when Naruto arrived. 3 Sound Ninjas surrounded the small shop, their weapons drawn, laughing as the old cook and his daughter tried to defend themselves with kitchen knives. Please, Ayame begged, standing in front of her father. We're just civilians. We don't have anything valuable. Then you're useless, one of the Sound Ninjas sneered, raising his kunai. Crimson flames engulfed all 3 Sound Ninjas simultaneously. They didn't even have time to scream before Naruto's fire reduced them to ash. The attack was so fast, so precise, that the ramen stand itself wasn't damaged, just the 3 men who threatened it. Naruto lowered his hands, the flames extinguishing. Are you hurt? Tochi stared at the ash piles, then at Naruto. You saved us. Of course. Naruto's expression softened slightly, the first genuine emotion he'd shown all day. You're my people. I protect my people. Ayame threw her arms around Naruto, crying into his shoulder. Thank you. Thank you so much. Naruto patted her back awkwardly. Stay inside. Lock the doors. I'll make sure no one else gets through. He turned to leave, but Tochi grabbed his arm. Naruto, why do you protect us specifically? We're just ramen cooks. Because you treated me like a person when everyone else saw a demon. Naruto's red-marked eyes met Tochi's gaze. That matters more than you know. He left the stand, planting his matoi in the middle of the street. Flames erupted from the pole, spreading outward in a perfect circle that created a wall of fire around the entire civilian district. Sun Wheel. Naruto threw his hands outward, creating rings of golden fire that orbited the barrier like protective halos. Any sound or sand ninja who tried to breach the flames burned instantly, their screams serving as warnings to others. Inside the barrier, civilians huddled in fear, but they weren't being attacked. The fire didn't spread to buildings or hurt anyone inside. It simply existed as an impenetrable wall between them and the invasion. Naruto stood at the barrier's center, his body radiating heat, his eyes scanning for threats. This was his territory, his domain, and nothing would breach it while he lived. Across the village, other battles raged. Kakashi fought enemy Jonin, Anbu clashed with sound operatives, and somewhere in the forest beyond Konoha's walls, Sasuke Uchiha was being approached by 4 ninja bearing Orochimaru's cursed seal. They offered him power. They promised strength beyond his current limits. They showed him the curse mark's potential, and Sasuke, consumed by his need to surpass his brother and prove himself stronger than Naruto, accepted. He left Konoha that night, abandoning his team, his village, and his former life in pursuit of power that Orochimaru claimed only he could provide. When news of Sasuke's defection reached the Hokage, who'd been rescued by Naruto after Orochimaru's retreat, a retrieval team was formed. But Naruto wasn't on it. "Why not?" Sakura demanded, tears streaming down her face. "He's your teammate. You're the strongest one here. You could bring him back." "I could," Naruto agreed, "but I won't." "Why?" "Because Sasuke made his choice. He chose power over people, ambition over bonds. That's his path." Naruto's expression was calm but final. "I don't chase people who don't want to be found." "But he's our friend." "He's your friend. He was never mine." Naruto turned to leave. "I work with people. I protect people I choose. But I don't control their decisions. Sasuke wanted to leave. Let him leave." "You're heartless," Sakura screamed. Naruto paused. "No, I'm realistic. Sasuke saw my strength and it made him desperate. He couldn't handle being weaker, so he ran to someone who promised easy power." He looked back at Sakura. People like that don't change until they hit rock bottom. Chasing him now just delays the inevitable. Sakura collapsed, sobbing. Hinata Hyuga, who'd been listening nearby, approached Naruto carefully. "Nen Naruto-kun." Naruto turned to face the shy Hyuga heiress. "Hinata, I think you're right." Her voice was quiet but firm. "Sasuke-san made his choice. Forcing him back wouldn't change his heart. You understand. I've seen people forced to stay in situations they hate. The Hyuga clan does it to branch family members." Hinata's pale eyes met Naruto's red-marked ones. "It just creates resentment." Naruto studied her for a long moment. "You're stronger than you pretend to be." Hinata blushed. "And not as strong as you. Different kinds of strength." Naruto's expression softened slightly. "You survive in a clan that sees you as weak. That takes a different kind of fire." "Fire? Determination, will. The refusal to break even when everything pushes you down." He tilted his head. "You have that fire. You just hide it behind politeness." Hinata's blush deepened, but she smiled. "Thank you, Naruto-kun." "For what?" "For seeing me." Naruto nodded once, then walked away, leaving Hinata standing in the street with her heart racing. The retrieval team left without Naruto, Shikamaru leading Kiba, Choji, Neji, and eventually Rock Lee when he insisted on helping. They chased Sasuke to the Valley of the End, where the Uchiha and the Sound Four waited. But Naruto had his own plans. He found Sasuke first, intercepting him before the retrieval team could arrive. The Valley of the End was quiet, mist rising from the waterfall, the massive statues of Hashirama and Madara watching from opposite sides. "Naruto." Sasuke's voice was cold, his curse mark already spreading across his skin. "I knew you'd come." "I'm not here to bring you back," Naruto said, planting his matoi in the ground. "I'm here to give you one last chance." "Chance for what?" "To stop being an idiot." Naruto's red-marked eyes locked onto Sasuke's black ones. "You're chasing power you don't need, from a man who'll discard you when you're no longer useful. I need this power to kill Itachi, to avenge my clan. Revenge won't bring them back. It won't make you stronger. It'll just consume you until there's nothing left." Naruto's voice was calm but carried weight. "I've seen what obsession does. It makes you brittle, weak." Sasuke's hands clenched. "You don't understand. You've always been strong. You don't know what it's like to be powerless. I was powerless for 12 years, Naruto countered. Every villager who tried to kill me, every shopkeeper who refused service, every ninja who looked at me like I was a demon rather than a child. His flames began to ignite. The difference is I found strength in protecting people, not in revenge. Your way is weak, then prove it. Naruto pulled his matoi from the ground, spinning it once. Fight me. Use that curse mark power Orochimaru gave you. Show me that your path is stronger than mine. Sasuke activated his curse mark to the second state, wings sprouting from his back, his skin turning gray. I'll kill you and prove I'm stronger than everyone. He charged, enhanced speed making him blur. Naruto didn't move. Sasuke's fist hit the heat domain and his skin began to burn. He screamed, jerking back, staring at his blistered hand. The curse mark makes you faster and stronger, Naruto observed, but it doesn't protect you from heat. Nothing does. Sasuke formed hand seals with his damaged hand, ignoring the pain. Fire style, fireball jutsu. Flames erupted from his mouth, a massive sphere of orange fire that consumed the space between them. Naruto raised his hand. The fireball stopped mid-flight, hanging in the air as Naruto took control. His second-generation abilities gave him complete dominance over external fire sources. I control all fire, Sasuke, even yours. With a flick of his wrist, Naruto sent the fireball back. Sasuke's eyes widened, his Sharingan spinning as he dove aside. The flames scorched the ground where he'd stood. Impossible! Sasuke's pride crumbled further with each failed attack. How can you control my jutsu? Because fire obeys me. It's what I am. Naruto's expression remained neutral. You use fire as a tool. I am fire. Sasuke screamed in frustration and formed his ultimate technique. Lightning gathered in his hands, screaming with lethal intensity. Chidori. He charged forward, curse mark enhancing his speed, Sharingan tracking every movement, putting everything into one final attack meant to pierce through Naruto's defenses. Naruto raised both hands. His right hand ignited with crimson moon, deep red flames swirling in a circular pattern. His left hand ignited with sun wheel, golden orange flames forming a ring. Behind him, the giant red moon materialized in the sky, its light reflecting off the waterfall and turning the entire valley crimson. Last time I'll say this, Sasuke. Walk away. Sasuke's Chidori screamed louder. Never. They charged toward each other. Naruto brought his hands together. Crimson moon, sun wheel. The technique spiraled outward, red and gold flames merging into a vortex that seemed to contain both sunset and sunrise. The attack was massive, overwhelming, unstoppable. It caught Sasuke's Chidori and consumed it. The lightning dissipated, unable to maintain cohesion against heat that intense. Sasuke's hand felt like it was burning from the inside out. He tried to retreat, but Naruto was faster. Naruto's hand shot forward, catching Sasuke's wrist. His fingers were wreathed in flames that didn't burn Sasuke's skin. They broke his hand instead. Bones crunched as Naruto crushed Sasuke's Chidori-charged hand, forcing the technique to disperse. Sasuke screamed. Naruto used his other hand to grab Sasuke by the throat, lifting him off the ground. You're weak. The curse mark is weak. Orochimaru is weak, and you're too proud to see it. He threw Sasuke into the waterfall. The impact sent water exploding outward. Sasuke's body tumbled through the cascade, slamming into rocks before splashing into the river below. The water hissed and steamed where Naruto's residual heat touched it, creating a fog bank that obscured everything. When the mist cleared, Sasuke lay in the shallow water, curse mark receding, his body broken and defeated. Naruto walked across the water's surface, heat evaporating it beneath his feet, leaving a trail of dry stone. He grabbed Sasuke by the collar and dragged him from the river. Don't play with fire, kid. You'll get burned. The giant red moon still hung in the sky above them, Naruto standing beneath it like the god of fire himself. Sasuke's consciousness faded, his last sight being Naruto's red-marked eyes staring down without mercy or sympathy. Naruto dragged Sasuke back to Konoha, the Uchiha unconscious over his shoulder, his matoi in his other hand. The retrieval team found them halfway back, shocked to see Sasuke defeated and captured. You got him? Shikamaru stared at Sasuke's broken form. We were supposed to retrieve him. I retrieved him, Naruto replied. What you do with him now is up to the Hokage. Back in Konoha, Sasuke was placed under guard in the hospital. His hand would heal, but the psychological damage of being so thoroughly defeated would take longer to mend. Kakashi visited Naruto that evening, finding him at Ichiraku as usual. "You broke Sasuke," the Jonin observed, sitting beside his student. "He broke himself chasing power he didn't need." Naruto slurped his ramen. "I just showed him the consequences. He'll hate you for this." "He already hated me. This just gives him a reason." Naruto set down his chopsticks. "Maybe he'll learn something. Maybe he won't. Either way, I gave him a chance to choose differently. And if he leaves again, then I won't stop him." Naruto's red-marked eyes reflected the lamplight. "I'm not his keeper. I'm not his friend. I'm just someone who showed him what real strength looks like." Kakashi sighed. "You're going to be a problem when you grow up." "I'm already a problem." Naruto resumed eating. "Ask the council." The Jonin chuckled despite himself. "Fair point." As the sun set over Konoha, Naruto sat alone at Ichiraku, a bowl of ramen steaming before him. Tochi brought him another serving without asking, and Ayame smiled as she refilled his water. This was peace. Not the false peace of a village that feared him. Not the hollow peace of strength without purpose, but the simple peace of protecting people who saw him as human. Hinata approached hesitantly, her fingers pressed together. "Naruto-kun, may I sit?" Naruto gestured to the empty stool beside him. "Go ahead." She sat, ordering her own bowl, and they ate in comfortable silence. "Everyone's talking about what you did," Hinata said quietly. "Protecting the civilian district, defeating Sasuke-san, driving away Orochimaru twice." "Let them talk." "They're calling you a hero." "I'm not a hero," Naruto repeated, his voice soft but firm. "I'm just someone who protects his people." Hinata looked at him, this strange boy with marked eyes and overwhelming power who saw her as a person rather than a clan failure. Can I be one of your people?" Naruto turned to face her fully. "You already are." Her eyes widened. "I am?" "You see me, not the demon fox, not the weapon, just Naruto." He set down his chopsticks. "That makes you one of the few worth protecting." Hinata's heart felt like it might burst. She smiled, genuine and bright, and for once didn't stutter. "Thank you, Naruto-kun." They finished their meal as the sun disappeared below the horizon, the village settling into evening calm. Above them, the moon hung pale and distant, nothing like the crimson moon Naruto could create, but peaceful in its normalcy. And in that moment, Naruto Uzumaki, the boy who carried fire in his soul, found something he'd never expected to feel: contentment. The bowl of ramen steamed in front of him, but Naruto's eyes were distant, watching the sun dip below the Hokage monument. The crimson light reminded him of his own flames, constant, consuming, inevitable. Hinata sat beside him in comfortable silence, her presence warm without being intrusive. She'd learned not to fill the quiet with unnecessary words. Tochi wiped down the counter, his movements practiced and familiar. "You've been quieter than usual, Naruto. Something on your mind?" "No." Naruto's chopsticks paused halfway to his mouth. "Just thinking about fire." "You're always thinking about fire," Ayame said with a gentle smile, refilling his water. "Fire is simple. It burns what needs to burn and leaves the rest alone." He resumed eating. People should learn from it. A messenger appeared at the stand's entrance, an Anbu with a cat mask. "Naruto Uzumaki, the Hokage requests your immediate presence." Naruto didn't look up from his ramen. "Tell her I'll come when I'm finished eating." The Anbu hesitated. She said it was urgent. "Then she can wait 5 more minutes." Naruto's tone didn't change, but the temperature around the stand rose slightly. The Anbu's hand moved instinctively toward his weapon, then froze as he realized the futility of that action. "I'll relay your message." The Anbu vanished, Hinata's fingers pressed together nervously. "And Naruto-kun, maybe you should..." "Finish your meal, Hinata." His red-marked eyes glanced at her bowl, still half full. "Tochi made it for you. Wasting food is disrespectful." She nodded, a small smile forming as she resumed eating. This was Naruto, blunt, traditional, caring in ways most people missed. True to his word, Naruto finished his ramen exactly 5 minutes later. He paid, collected his matoi from where it leaned against the stand, and walked toward the Hokage Tower with measured steps. Hinata followed at a respectful distance, not because he'd asked her to, but because she wanted to be near him. Tsunade's office was in controlled chaos when Naruto arrived. Maps covered the desk, reports scattered across every surface, and the fifth Hokage herself looked exhausted despite her youthful appearance maintained by jutsu. "You took your time," Tsunade said without looking up. "You interrupted my dinner." Naruto planted his matoi against the wall and leaned against it. "What do you want?" Sasuke escaped. The temperature in the room didn't change, but something in Naruto's posture shifted. A subtle tension that wasn't quite anger but close to it. When? 3 days ago. He overpowered his Anbu guards and left Konoha. Intelligence suggests he went to Orochimaru's hideout in the Land of Sound. Tsunade finally looked up, her brown eyes meeting his red-marked ones. "I need you to bring him back." "No. Naruto, I already brought him back once. I broke his hand, his pride, and his delusions about power. If he wants to run to a snake who'll eventually try to steal his body, that's his choice." Naruto's voice remained flat, factual. "I'm not his keeper. He's your teammate. He was assigned to the same team. That doesn't make him my responsibility." Naruto pushed off from the wall. "Is that all?" Tsunade's fist slammed into the desk, cracking the wood. "Damn it, Naruto. He'd become a threat to Konoha. To your people. Then I'll burn him when he becomes a threat, not before." He picked up his matoi. Chasing people who don't want to be found is a waste of time. Sasuke made his choice at the Valley of the End. I gave him a second chance and he threw it away. There won't be a third. "What if I ordered you to retrieve him?" Naruto's eyes met hers, and for a moment Tsunade saw something ancient in those red-marked pupils, something that had seen civilizations burn and rise from the ashes. "You're the Hokage. You can give orders, but I don't follow orders I disagree with. We both know that." The silence stretched between them, broken only by the ticking of the clock on the wall. "Fine." Tsunade leaned back in her chair, suddenly looking her real age. "But when he comes back as an enemy, remember this conversation." "I will." Naruto turned to leave, then paused. "You should promote someone else to Jonin, preferably someone who actually wants the responsibility." "I'm promoting you." "I refuse." "You can't refuse a promotion." "Watch me." He opened the door. "Find someone who cares about rank. I just want to protect my people and eat ramen in peace." The door closed behind him, leaving Tsunade alone with her frustration and grudging respect for the boy who refused to bend. Outside the tower, Hinata waited with patient stillness. "How did it go?" "Sasuke ran away again. Tsunade wants me to chase him." I refused. Naruto started walking toward his apartment, and Hinata fell into step beside him. "Want to get Dango?" Her face lit up with a rare bright smile. "Yes, I'd like that." They walked through Konoha's evening streets, and Naruto noticed how people moved out of his way without conscious thought. Not fear exactly, more like instinctive recognition of something powerful passing by. Children stared at his matoi with wide eyes, whispering about the boy who'd killed Gado, defeated Zabuza, and driven away Orochimaru twice. He didn't acknowledge the attention. Reputation was just noise. At the Dango shop, they sat outside under the fading light. Hinata ordered sweet dumplings while Naruto got green tea and plain Dango. He didn't care for excessive sweetness. "Naruto-kun," Hinata began carefully, "do you think Sasuke-san will be okay?" "He'll survive. Whether he'll be okay depends on whether he learns that power without purpose is just destruction." Naruto bit into a dumpling. "Orochimaru will try to take his body eventually. Sasuke will either kill him first or become a vessel. Either way, it's his choice." "You don't seem worried." "I'm not. Sasuke is strong enough to handle himself. If he dies, it means he wasn't as strong as he thought." He sipped his tea. The world doesn't owe anyone protection from their own decisions. Hinata considered this, her fingers pressing together in her habitual nervous gesture. "Is that why you only protect certain people? Because you choose to, not because you have to?" "Yes." His red-marked eyes met her pale ones. "The village expects me to be their weapon because I'm strong, but I'm not a tool. I'm a person who chooses what battles to fight and who to protect. And I'm one of those people?" Her voice was barely above a whisper. "You already know the answer to that." Naruto finished his tea. "You've been leaving meals at my apartment for 2 years? You think I don't notice?" Hinata's face turned bright red. I just thought, you're always training alone and I wanted to make sure you ate properly. And thank you." The words were simple but genuine. "The food is good, better than what I make for myself." She stared at him, surprise replacing embarrassment. Naruto rarely thanked anyone directly. Usually his gratitude came in the form of protection or quiet acknowledgement. Actual words were reserved for moments that mattered. "You're welcome, Naruto-kun." Her smile was soft and genuine. They finished their dango as the stars began to appear, and Naruto walked Hinata back to the Hyuga compound. At the gates, she hesitated. Will you be leaving soon? For training or missions?" "Probably. Tsunade mentioned something about Jiraiya wanting to take me on a training journey." He shrugged. "I'll refuse, but she'll be persistent." "Why refuse?" "Jiraiya-sama is one of the legendary Sannin. He could teach you." "I don't need teaching. I need practice." Naruto's hand rested on his matoi. "My power comes from within, not from jutsu scrolls or techniques I copy. The only way I get stronger is by pushing my own limits, and I do that better alone." Hinata nodded, understanding even if she didn't fully agree. "Then, will you at least visit sometimes, while you're training?" "Yes." The answer came without hesitation. "You're one of my people, Hinata. I don't abandon my people." She smiled, bowed formally despite their friendship, and disappeared into the Hyuga compound. Naruto watched her go, then turned toward his own apartment. The next morning, Tsunade summoned him again. This time, Jiraiya was present, the Toad Sage himself, legendary pervert and author of terrible books, leaning against the wall with his arms crossed. "Naruto!" Jiraiya's grin was wide and false. "How about you and I go on a training trip? See the world, meet beautiful women, unlock your full potential as a shinobi." "No." The grin faltered. "You didn't even let me finish." "I don't need to. You want to train me because Tsunade asked you to, and because you think I'm wasting my potential by not learning Toad techniques or whatever Sage Mode abilities you have." Naruto's tone was matter of fact. "But my power doesn't come from Toads, it comes from fire, and fire doesn't need a teacher." Jiraiya exchanged a look with Tsunade. "Kid, you're strong. I'll give you that, but there's always room to improve. I could teach you." "Nothing I can't learn myself." Naruto interrupted again. "I appreciate the offer, but I train better alone." "What if I ordered you to go?" Tsunade tried. "Then I'd leave Konoha and train somewhere else. Maybe the Land of Iron. I hear they respect warriors there." Naruto's red-marked eyes held no compromise. "I'm not a genin you can order around anymore, Tsunade. I'm someone who protects this village because I choose to, not because I have to." The threat was implicit but clear. Push too hard and Konoha would lose its strongest defender. Jiraiya laughed, breaking the tension. "You've got spirit, kid. Reminds me of your father." "I'm nothing like the fourth Hokage." Naruto's voice went cold. He sacrificed himself for people who hated him. "I would never be that stupid." "Your father was a hero. My father was an idealist who died believing the village would honor his sacrifice by protecting his son." Naruto's flames flickered briefly along his hands before he suppressed them. "Instead, they tried to kill me, called me demon, treated me like a weapon. If that's what heroism earns, I want no part of it." The room fell silent. Tsunade spoke carefully. "Naruto, the village has changed. People see you differently now. They see my strength and pretend their hatred never existed. That's not change. That's fear disguised as respect." He turned toward the door. "I'll protect Konoha because people I care about live here, but I'll never die for it. The village hasn't earned that sacrifice." He left before either of them could respond. Jiraiya whistled low. "That kid has issues." "That kid," Tsunade corrected, "is the most honest person in this village. He doesn't hide his feelings behind duty or tradition. He just exists as himself and refuses to apologize for it." "And you're okay with that?" "I don't have a choice. If I push him away, Konoha loses its greatest protector. If I accept him as he is, I get someone who will burn our enemies to ash without hesitation." She poured herself sake despite the early hour. "I'd rather have an honest weapon I can't control than a loyal tool that breaks when I need it most." "He's not a weapon, Tsunade." "I know. That's what makes him dangerous." She drank deeply. "Weapons can be controlled. People like Naruto Uzumaki can only be guided, and only if you're lucky." The seasons changed. Summer faded to autumn, autumn to winter, winter to spring. Naruto spent the time training in the forests beyond Konoha, pushing his pyrokinetic abilities to new heights. His heat domain expanded from 4 meters to 5, then 5.5. His Crimson Moon technique gained precision. He could carve specific shapes now instead of just creating crescents. His sun wheel could be thrown and recalled like a boomerang of fire. He developed new variations of his EI hand sword techniques. Moonlight, a horizontal slash that left a trail of pale flames that burned cold instead of hot, freezing targets in ice made from crystallized fire energy. Sunset, a descending slash that created a curtain of flames that fell like rain, each droplet exploding on contact. Dusk, a rapid-fire series of small flame crescents launched in quick succession, overwhelming defenses through sheer volume. His matoi became an extension of his body. He could throw it with pinpoint accuracy, use it as a conduit for his flames, and even ride it through the air by generating thrust from fire at its base. Hinata visited him weekly, bringing food and quiet companionship. They rarely talked during these visits. She would sit and watch him train, and he would take breaks to eat what she'd brought. It was comfortable, natural, the kind of relationship built on understanding rather than words. One evening, as winter gave way to spring, Hinata asked a question that had been building for months. "Naruto-kun, do you ever get lonely, training alone all the time?" He considered the question while wrapping new cloth around his matoi's pole. "No, loneliness requires wanting something I don't have. I have what I need, strength to protect my people, freedom to make my own choices, and peace when I want it. But don't you want friends, companionship? I have companionship. You're here. Tochi and Ayame care about me. Iruka-sensei checks on me monthly. Kakashi respects me enough to leave me alone." He tested the wrapping, satisfied with its tightness. "That's more than most people have." "What about romance?" Her voice dropped to barely audible. "Do you ever think about that?" Naruto's hands stilled. He looked at Hinata properly, seeing the nervousness in her posture, the hope in her eyes, the courage it took to ask that question. "I think about it sometimes," he admitted, "but romance requires vulnerability, opening yourself to someone and trusting they won't use it against you." His red-marked eyes met her pale ones. "I'm not good at vulnerability. You don't have to be good at it. You just have to be willing to try." Hinata's courage was growing, her stutter fading as she spoke from the heart. "I've watched you for years, Naruto-kun. You're strong and independent, and you don't need anyone. But maybe you could want someone anyway, not because you need them, but because you choose them." The parallel to his philosophy about protection wasn't lost on him. "Is that what you want, Hinata? To be chosen?" "I want," she took a breath, steadying herself. "I want to be one of your people, not just someone you protect, but someone you choose to be with, if you'll have me." Naruto set down his matoi. "You're already one of my people. You have been since you started leaving food at my apartment." "But I mean, I know what you mean." He stood, walking to where she sat on a fallen log. "You want to know if I feel the same way you feel about me." Hinata nodded, unable to speak. "I do." The admission was simple, honest, without flowery language or romantic gestures. "You see me as a person, not a weapon or a demon or a hero. You bring me food without expecting anything in return. You sit with me in silence without demanding conversation. You respect my choices even when you don't understand them." He offered his hand. That's more valuable than any confession of love could be. She took his hand and he pulled her to her feet. They stood close enough that she could feel the ambient heat from his body. Not uncomfortable, just warm, like standing near a campfire on a cold night. "So, we're together now?" Hinata asked. "If you want to be." "I do. Then we are." He squeezed her hand once, then released it. "Though I should warn you, I'm not going to change how I live. I'll still train alone, still refuse orders I disagree with, still prioritize protecting my chosen people over village politics." "I wouldn't want you to change." Hinata smiled, genuine and bright. "I fell in love with who you are, not who I wish you were." For the first time in years, Naruto smiled back, a real smile that reached his eyes and softened his usually stoic expression. "Good. Then we understand each other." They walked back to Konoha together as the sun set, and when they reached the village gates, Naruto did something unexpected. He took her hand again and didn't let go until they reached the Hyuga compound. It was a small gesture, barely noticeable to anyone else. But to Hinata, it meant everything. 2 years passed. Naruto turned 17, then 18. His body filled out with lean muscle earned from constant training. His hair grew slightly longer, tied back with a simple cord when he fought. His Matoi's cloth wrapping became worn and was replaced 3 times, each time in the same traditional red and white pattern. He remained Genin by choice, refusing every promotion Tsunade offered. He took missions when they interested him, usually protection jobs for civilians in danger or elimination missions targeting genuinely evil people. He refused assassination missions that targeted political enemies or morally gray targets. His mission success rate was 100%, but his mission acceptance rate was barely 30%. The village learned to work around him. When they needed overwhelming force against a genuine threat, they called Naruto Uzumaki. For everything else, they used regular shinobi. His relationship with Hinata deepened slowly, naturally. They didn't live together. Naruto valued his independence too much, and Hinata had duties to the Hyuga clan. But they spent evenings together several times a week, usually at Ichiraku or training grounds, talking about everything and nothing. Hinata grew stronger under his influence. She stopped apologizing for existing, stopped stammering constantly, and started making decisions based on what she wanted rather than what her clan expected. She didn't become aggressive or confrontational. That wasn't her nature. But she became firm, confident, willing to stand her ground when it mattered. The Hyuga clan elders didn't approve of her relationship with the demon boy, but Hiashi surprised everyone by supporting his daughter. "She's happier than I've ever seen her," the Hyuga clan head told his council when they demanded he end the relationship. "And Naruto Uzumaki is the strongest shinobi in Konoha. If anything, we should be grateful he chose our clan's heir." Privately, Hiashi had another reason. He'd seen Naruto fight during Pain's invasion training exercises, and he knew that having that kind of power as a potential ally was worth more than any political marriage could ever bring. On Naruto's 18th birthday, Tochi closed Ichiraku early and prepared a private feast. 12 different types of ramen, each one Naruto's favorite in different ways. Hinata, Iruka, Kakashi, Sakura, and surprisingly Tsunade all attended. To Naruto, Iruka raised his sake cup, the student who taught me that strength without compassion is hollow, but compassion without strength is useless. To the brat who refuses every order I give, Tsunade added with a grin, but shows up exactly when I need him most. To my eternal rival in stubbornness, Kakashi said, who makes me look reasonable by comparison. To Naruto-kun, Hinata's voice was soft but clear, who chose to see the world on his own terms and never apologized for it. Naruto raised his own cup, filled with tea instead of sake, as he didn't drink alcohol. To the people who matter. They drank, and for one evening, the boy who carried fire in his soul allowed himself to be simply human. But peace never lasted forever. The summons came at dawn. Naruto woke to Anbu pounding on his door. Their chakra signatures panicked and urgent. He opened the door already dressed. He slept in his traditional clothes now, ready to move at a moment's notice. "The Hokage requires your immediate presence. Akatsuki has been sighted in the land of fire." Naruto's eyes narrowed. "How many?" "2 members. They're heading toward Konoha." He grabbed his Matoi and was moving before the Anbu could say anything else. The Hokage's office was organized chaos. Jiraiya stood by the window, his expression grim. Tsunade was coordinating with multiple Anbu teams through communication scrolls. Kakashi and several jonin stood ready for deployment. "Naruto." Tsunade looked up as he entered. "Akatsuki is making their move. Our intelligence indicates they're targeting Jinchuriki, specifically you and Gaara." "Which members?" "Deidara and Sasori, the bomber and the puppeteer." Jiraiya turned from the window. "They attacked Tsunagakure 3 days ago. Gaara fought them off, but they've regrouped and are heading here." "Why come to Konoha? They know I'm here." Naruto planted his Matoi. "They should know attacking me is suicide." "Arrogance, probably. Or they have a plan we haven't anticipated." Tsunade stood. "I'm sending you, Kakashi, and Team Guy to intercept them before they reach the village. Civilian casualties need to be minimized." "I don't need backup." "I know, but I'm sending it anyway." Her tone left no room for argument. "This is Akatsuki, the organization that's been capturing Jinchuriki across the continent. We can't underestimate them." Naruto shrugged. "Send whoever you want, just stay out of my way." The interception point was 20 kilometers outside Konoha, in a rocky valley with minimal vegetation. Team Guy arrived first, Rock Lee bouncing with youthful enthusiasm, Neji calm and analytical, Tenten checking her weapons, and Guy himself striking dramatic poses despite the serious situation. Kakashi and Naruto arrived via rooftop jumping, landing smoothly as Kakashi's Sharingan scanned the area. "They're close," Kakashi murmured. "I can sense their chakra. I can feel their body heat." Naruto's red-marked eyes tracked the horizon. 2 signatures, one human temperature, one colder, probably the puppet master inside a puppet. Lee bounced forward. "Naruto-san, your flames of youth burn as bright as ever. Let us defeat these villains with the power of—" "Lee, be quiet." Naruto's flat tone stopped the enthusiastic Genin mid-speech. "They're here." 2 figures appeared on the valley's far ridge. The first was immediately recognizable. Blonde hair pulled into a ponytail, blue eyes gleaming with manic energy, wearing the distinctive black cloak with red clouds. Deidara. The second was hunched, hidden inside a wooden puppet with a scorpion tail, face obscured. Sasori. "Well, well." Deidara's voice carried across the valley. "The Nine-Tails Jinchuriki himself. I've been wanting to test my art against the famous King of Fire." "Yeah. Your art is borrowed power shaped into pretty explosions." Naruto stepped forward, leaving the others behind. "Mine is fire itself. Let's see which is stronger." Deidara grinned, already pulling clay from pouches at his waist. His hands, mouths embedded in the palms, chewed the clay rapidly. "C1, clay birds." Dozens of white clay birds erupted from his hands, each one infused with explosive chakra. They scattered across the sky like a flock, then dove toward Naruto in coordinated attack patterns. Naruto didn't move. His heat domain flared, an invisible sphere 5.5 meters in radius, where temperature skyrocketed to levels that distorted the air itself. The clay birds entered the domain and detonated prematurely, their explosive chakra triggered by the intense heat. The sky lit up with premature explosions, none close enough to harm Naruto. "What?" Deidara's eyes widened. "My art detonated too early. How did—" "Heat triggers explosives. Basic chemistry." Naruto's voice carried clearly despite the explosions. "Your clay bombs are useless against someone who exists at temperatures high enough to ignite them remotely." Sasori's voice emerged from the puppet, raspy and ancient. "Then I'll handle him. Deidara, retrieve the other Jinchuriki while I engage this one." "Are you sure, Sasori Dana? He's—" "Go." Deidara hesitated, then formed a large clay bird and flew toward Tsunagakure's direction. Naruto watched him go without moving. "You're letting him leave," Sasori observed. "Gaara can handle one bomber. I'm more interested in you, a puppeteer who turned himself into a puppet to achieve immortality." Naruto's red-marked eyes studied Sasori's hunched form. "Show me what eternal life looks like." The wooden puppet shell cracked open, revealing Sasori's true form, a young man with red hair and lifeless brown eyes, his body mostly replaced with puppet parts, except for a cylindrical container in his chest that held his living flesh core. "Impressive," Naruto acknowledged. "You reduced yourself to a single organ and surrounded it with weapons. That's commitment to your craft. I am a work of art that will last forever." Sasori's voice held pride despite its mechanical quality. "Unlike your flames, which burn bright and die quickly. Fire doesn't die, it just waits for fuel." Naruto pulled his matoi free and spun it once. "Let's see if your eternal body burns." Sasori's back opened, revealing hundreds of puppet arms wielding poisoned blades. They shot forward in a wave of steel and death, each blade coated with toxins that could kill on contact. Naruto's right hand moved in the familiar Ei motion. Ei hand sword, Crimson Moon. A circular blast of crimson flames erupted from his palm, spinning outward like a wheel. The flames caught the puppet arms mid-flight, incinerating them before they could reach him. Wood burned, poison evaporated, metal melted. Sasori retreated, already summoning scrolls. Third Kazekage! The body of the third Kazekage, preserved and weaponized, capable of using Iron Sand techniques even in death. "You turned a Kage into a puppet." Naruto's tone cooled. "That's disrespectful to the dead." "The dead have no use for respect. Only I remain perfect." The third Kazekage puppet raised its arms, generating massive amounts of iron sand from the surrounding earth. The sand formed into weapons, swords, spears, a giant hammer, all aimed at Naruto. Naruto planted his matoi and raised both hands. His left hand ignited with golden-orange flames arranged in a ring. Sun wheel. He threw the ring of flames forward. It spun through the air like a discus, cutting through the iron sand weapons and melting them mid-flight. The molten iron fell harmlessly to the ground, no longer under Sasori's control. Iron has a melting point, Naruto explained calmly. My flames exceed that temperature. Your weapons are useless. Sasori's expression didn't change. Puppets couldn't show emotion. But his next attack came faster, more desperate. He summoned more puppets, creating an army of 100. The red secret technique, performance of 100 puppets. Each puppet was armed, coordinated, moving in perfect synchronization. They surrounded Naruto from all angles, attacking simultaneously to overwhelm his defenses. Naruto closed his eyes. His body temperature spiked. The heat domain expanded, not in radius, but in intensity. The temperature within 5.5 meters rose so high that the air itself ignited. Spontaneous combustion occurred across the entire sphere, creating a brief flash of pure flame that consumed everything within range. All 100 puppets burned. Wood, metal, cloth, everything reduced to ash in seconds. The attack was so fast and so complete that the puppets didn't even have time to collapse. They simply ceased to exist. Sasori stood alone, his true body exposed now that his puppets were gone. Impossible, he whispered. My collection, my art, centuries of work, gone. Naruto's flames extinguished, the heat returning to normal levels. Because you confuse preservation with life. True art isn't eternal. It's the moment of creation, the burst of inspiration, the flame that burns bright even if it doesn't last forever. He walked towards Sasori, Matoi in hand. You're wrong. Sasori's mechanical voice cracked. Only eternal things have value. Beauty fades, strength diminishes, life ends. I transcended those limitations. No, you ran from them. Naruto stopped 5 meters away. You were so afraid of death that you turned yourself into a thing. But things don't live, they just exist. Sasori's chest opened, revealing his flesh core, the only living part of him remaining, a cylinder of preserved human tissue containing his heart. Then kill me! Sasori's voice was desperate now, the mechanical mask slipping. Prove that your temporary flames are stronger than my eternal form. Naruto raised his right hand, flames dancing along his fingers. No! What? Killing you would be mercy. You'd finally escape the prison you built for yourself. Naruto's flames extinguished. Instead, I'll let you live with the knowledge that your eternity is meaningless. Your puppets are gone, your art is destroyed, and you're just a human heart in a wooden shell, alone and defeated. He turned to walk away. Sasori screamed, a sound of pure rage and despair, and launched his final attack. A scorpion tail emerged from his back, dripping with his most potent poison, aimed directly at Naruto's back. Naruto didn't turn around. His right hand swept backward in a casual eye motion. Fire Moon. A spinning wheel of flames erupted from his palm, catching the scorpion tail and Sasori's body simultaneously. The flames consumed the puppeteer's wooden shell, melting it away to reveal the flesh core beneath. The core fell to the ground, still alive but exposed, helpless. Naruto glanced back. Someone will find you. Maybe they'll give you a proper burial. Maybe they'll turn you into a medical specimen. Either way, you'll finally understand that eternity isn't immortality. It's just a longer time to regret your choices. He walked away, leaving Sasori's core lying in the ashes of his destroyed puppets. Team Guy and Kakashi had watched the entire fight from a distance, unwilling to interfere. That was, Neji's Byakugan was still active, tracking the residual heat in the area. He destroyed 100 puppets in seconds, and the temperature he generated should have killed him too. But he's completely unharmed. Naruto has complete control over his flames, Kakashi explained, his Sharingan memorizing the techniques despite knowing he could never copy them. His body generates heat constantly, and he can amplify or suppress it at will. Within his domain, he's essentially untouchable. Lee's eyes sparkled with admiration. Such youthful power. Naruto-san's flames burn with the passion of Lee. Guy placed a hand on his student's shoulder. Sometimes words aren't enough. Just watch and learn. They followed Naruto back toward Konoha, maintaining a respectful distance. The news of Sasori's defeat spread quickly through the shinobi world. The legendary puppet master of Akatsuki, creator of the red secret technique, defeated by a genin from Konoha. The other hidden villages took notice. Intelligence reports were updated. Bingo books were revised. Naruto Uzumaki's threat level was upgraded to S rank, with a flee-on-sight order for anyone below Jonin level. He ignored the attention, returning to his normal routine of training, eating ramen, and spending time with Hinata. But Akatsuki wasn't finished. 3 months later, 2 more members appeared, Kakuzu and Hidan, the zombie combo. They attacked during a mission. Team Asuma was escorting a Fire Daimyo official when they encountered the Akatsuki pair on a forest road. The resulting battle was brutal and one-sided. Asuma Sarutobi, elite Jonin and son of the 3rd Hokage, died protecting his students. Naruto arrived too late. Called in by emergency signal, he reached the battlefield to find Asuma's body cooling, Shikamaru frozen in shock, Ino sobbing, and Choji unconscious from chakra exhaustion. Hidan and Kakuzu stood over the corpse, already preparing to leave. Well, Hidan grinned, his sight still bloody. Another one. Jashin-sama will be pleased with so many sacrifices today. Kakuzu's green eyes studied Naruto with calculating coldness. The 9 Tails Jinchuriki. Your bounty alone is worth 30 million ryo. Capturing you will fund Akatsuki's operations for years. Naruto looked at Asuma's body. The Jonin had taught him about strategy once, during an academy lecture about shogi and how it applied to combat. It had been a brief interaction, meaningless in the grand scheme, but Asuma had treated him like a person rather than a monster. That mattered. Naruto's eyes fixed on Hidan and Kakuzu. You killed one of my people. Your people? Hidan laughed. He was just some random Jonin. We've killed dozens of. Naruto vanished, not with body flicker, not with speed enhancement. He simply moved faster than either Akatsuki member could perceive, crossing the distance between them in a fraction of a second. His right hand grabbed Hidan by the throat, lifting him off the ground. Hidan's eyes widened in shock, then grinned. Doesn't matter. I'm immortal. Jashin-sama. Iai hand sword, red sun. A pillar of crimson flames erupted from beneath them, engulfing both Naruto and Hidan completely. The flames burned so hot that they turned white at the core, the temperature exceeding anything Naruto had produced before. Hidan screamed, a sound of pure agony as his immortal body discovered that even immortality had limits. His flesh didn't just burn, it carbonized, turned to pure carbon, then vaporized entirely. When the flames cleared, Naruto stood alone. Not even ash remained of Hidan. The Jashinist had been reduced to constituent atoms scattered on the wind. Kakuzu stared, his usually cold expression showing actual shock. That's impossible. Hidan's immortality is irrelevant. Naruto's voice was flat, emotionless. Immortality protects against conventional death. But I didn't kill him conventionally. I turned his entire body into plasma. There's nothing left to regenerate from. Kakuzu's hands moved rapidly, forming Earth-style defensive walls. Then I'll kill you before you can do the same to me. His back split open, revealing 4 masks, each containing a different elemental heart. Fire, wind, lightning, water. Combined with his earth heart in his main body, Kakuzu had 5 lives to spend. Fire style, intelligent hard work. The fire mask shot a massive fireball. Naruto raised his hand. The fireball stopped mid-flight, hanging in the air as Naruto took control. His second-generation abilities giving him dominion over all external fire sources. I told Sasori this already. Fire obeys me. Naruto flicked his wrist, sending the fireball back at triple speed. The fire mask tried to dodge but wasn't fast enough. The fireball consumed it, destroying one of Kakuzu's hearts. 4 left, Naruto observed. Kakuzu snarled, using his lightning mask. Lightning style, false darkness. A spear of lightning shot forward, moving too fast for normal humans to dodge. Naruto's heat domain flared. The lightning hit the superheated air and dispersed, unable to maintain cohesion through the temperature gradient. Basic physics, lightning followed the path of least resistance, and superheated air created resistance that normal air didn't. 3 techniques down. 2 hearts remaining. Naruto started walking forward. Show me what immortality looks like when it runs out of lives. The wind and water masks attacked simultaneously. Wind style, pressure damage, and water style, water encampment wall. A combination attack meant to amplify both techniques through elemental interaction. Naruto raised both hands. His right hand ignited with crimson moon, deep red flames swirling in a circular pattern. His left hand ignited with sun wheel, golden orange flames forming a ring. Crimson moon, sun wheel. He brought his hands together, creating a vortex of merged fire that spun outward like a miniature star going supernova. The flames consumed the wind and water techniques, evaporating the water and using the oxygen to burn hotter. The vortex caught both masks, destroying them instantly. Kakuzu stumbled, his main body now his only remaining heart. This is impossible. I've lived for 90 years. I've fought the first Hokage. I've survived wars that killed nations. I won't be defeated by some brat who... Yae hand sword, fire moon. Naruto's hand swept through the air in a horizontal arc. A spinning wheel of flames erupted from his palm, rolling across the ground toward Kakuzu. The immortal ninja tried to run, but fire was faster than flesh. The wheel caught him, engulfing his body in flames that burned through his earth-style skin, through his hardened muscles, through the threads that held his body together. When the flames cleared, Kakuzu's body was gone, reduced to ash that scattered in the wind. Naruto stood alone in the scorched clearing, his matoi planted beside him, the forest around them burning from residual heat. Shikamaru approached slowly, his face pale. You killed them both, 2 Akatsuki members, alone. They killed Asuma Sensei. Naruto's tone was matter of fact. That made them targets. Just like that? Just like that. Naruto pulled his matoi free. Take care of your team, Shikamaru. Grieve properly. Don't let revenge consume you like it consumed Sasuke. He started to leave, then paused. Asuma was a good man. He deserved better than dying to immortals who didn't value life. Make sure his death meant something. Shikamaru nodded. Unable to speak, Naruto vanished into the burning forest, leaving Team Asuma to recover their sensei's body. The village mourned Asuma's death, but they also celebrated the defeat of 2 more Akatsuki members. Naruto Uzumaki had now killed 3 S-rank criminals in direct combat, Hidan, Kakuzu's hearts, and forced Sasori into helpless defeat. His reputation grew beyond legend into myth. Children played Naruto and the Akatsuki in the streets. Merchants sold wooden matoi replicas. The academy added lessons about fire safety because too many students were trying to mimic his techniques and setting things on fire accidentally. Naruto ignored it all. He attended Asuma's funeral in silence, standing at the back while others gave speeches about sacrifice and duty. When it was over and everyone had left, he approached the grave alone. You told me once that shogi teaches us to sacrifice pieces to protect the king, Naruto said quietly to the headstone. But you sacrificed yourself to protect students who still had room to grow. That wasn't a wasted piece. That was a teacher showing his students what it means to protect what matters. He placed a small flame at the grave's base. Not a destructive fire, just a gentle light that would burn for days without fuel. A memorial made of pure heat energy. Rest well, Sensei. He left the cemetery and found Hinata waiting outside the gates. I'm sorry about Asuma Sensei, she said softly. Me too. Naruto took her hand. Want to get dango? Always. They walked through Konoha's evening streets, and for a brief moment, Naruto allowed himself to feel the grief he usually suppressed. Not for long. Mourning required vulnerability, and vulnerability was dangerous. But for these few minutes with Hinata beside him, he let himself be human. 6 months passed in relative peace. Naruto trained, went on missions, spent time with his chosen people. His relationship with Hinata deepened. They still didn't live together, but they spent most evenings in each other's company. Sometimes talking, sometimes sitting in comfortable silence, sometimes training together. Though Hinata's gentle fist was useless against his heat domain, so they usually practiced chakra control instead. The Hyuga clan had fully accepted their relationship now, recognizing that Naruto was likely the next Hokage, whether he wanted the title or not, and having him as family was politically valuable. Naruto didn't care about politics, but he appreciated that Hiyashi stopped treating him like a threat. On a cold autumn morning, everything changed. Anbu appeared at his apartment before dawn, their chakra signatures carrying urgency that went beyond normal missions. Akatsuki is attacking Konoha, the Anbu said without preamble. Multiple members, led by their leader, Pain. The Hokage requests you respond immediately. Naruto was already moving, grabbing his matoi and igniting flames along his hands. How many civilians evacuated? Evacuation is in progress, but... Then I'll buy time. He leaped from his apartment window, heading toward the village center where he could sense massive chakra signatures gathering. The sight that greeted him was apocalyptic. 6 figures stood in Konoha's main plaza, each with the same dead eyes and orange hair, wearing the same black cloaks with red clouds. The 6 paths of pain: Deva, Asura, human, animal, Preta, and Naraka. Around them, buildings burned. Shinobi fought desperately against summoned creatures. Civilians ran screaming as structures collapsed. Naruto landed in the plaza center, planting his mato with enough force to crack the stone beneath. The 6 paths turned to face him in perfect synchronization. Naruto Uzumaki. Deva path, the main body, the one speaking for all 6, stepped forward. We are pain. We bring suffering to this world to teach humanity the value of peace. You bring death and call it teaching. Naruto's flames ignited along both hands. I call it murder. The 9 tails will be extracted from you. If you surrender peacefully, we will minimize civilian casualties. No. Naruto's red-marked eyes locked onto all 6 bodies simultaneously. You attacked my village, threatened my people. For that, you die. Animal Path summoned a massive 3-headed dog. Ashura Path's arms split open, revealing missile launchers. Preta Path prepared to absorb jutsu. Human Path moved to flank. Naraka Path summoned the King of Hell. And Deva Path raised his hand for Shinra Tensei. The 6 paths of pain attacked simultaneously. Naruto didn't move. His heat domain exploded outward, 5.5 meters of space where temperature spiked to levels that distorted reality itself. The air ignited spontaneously. The stone beneath his feet melted. The 3-headed dog's flesh began to cook before it reached him. Asura Path's missiles detonated prematurely, exploding in their launchers and destroying the mechanical body from within. One down, Naruto observed. Human Path tried to grab him, but its hands blistered from ambient heat before making contact. Naruto caught the wrist, his fingers burning through flesh and bone, then used trajectory control to redirect the body's momentum, slamming Human Path into the ground hard enough to shatter the skull. 2 down. Preta Path rushed forward, hands reaching to absorb Naruto's chakra. Naruto let it touch him. The Preta Path's absorption technique tried to drain his chakra, but what it got instead was pure heat energy. Not chakra, but the fundamental thermal radiation his body produced naturally. The Preta Path's internal systems overloaded, unable to process energy that wasn't chakra-based. It exploded from the inside, flesh and machinery scattering across the plaza. 3 down. Naraka Path's King of Hell tried to intimidate him, its massive form looming overhead. Naruto raised his right hand. Iai Hand sword, Sun Wheel. A ring of golden-orange flames erupted from his palm, spinning like a discus. It sliced through the King of Hell's torso, bisecting the summon cleanly. The massive body collapsed, crushing Naraka Path beneath its weight. 4 down. Animal Path had been summoning continuously, birds, rhinos, bulls, a giant centipede, creating an army of creatures to overwhelm him. Naruto planted his matoi and raised both hands to the sky. Crimson Moon. A circular blast of deep red flames erupted from his position, spreading outward in an expanding ring. Every summon within 50 meters was instantly incinerated. Animal Path tried to run but wasn't fast enough. The flames caught its back, burning through the cloak and scorching the body beneath. It fell, dead before hitting the ground. 5 down. Only Deva Path remained. Tendo, the leader, the body that pain controlled directly. Tendo raised both hands. Shinra Tensei. An invisible force exploded outward, pushing everything away. Buildings, debris, bodies, even the air itself. Naruto felt the push, felt his body being forced backward, but his flames anchored him. He created jets of fire from his feet, using thrust to counter the repulsive force, holding his ground through sheer power. The Shinra Tensei ended. Naruto stood exactly where he'd been, clothes singed but body unharmed. Impossible, Tendo whispered. No one has ever resisted Shinra Tensei through brute force alone. I'm not using brute force, I'm using physics. Naruto started walking forward, flames dancing along his arms. Your technique pushes. My flames create thrust. Equal and opposite forces cancel out. Basic science. Tendo tried again, a more powerful Shinra Tensei that cratered the ground and sent buildings flying. Naruto walked through it, his flames intensifying to match the push, his trajectory control keeping him stable despite forces that should have sent him flying. You cannot defeat a god, Tendo shouted. I've never met a god. Naruto's voice was cold, final. Only corpses controlled by someone too afraid to face me directly. Tendo raised both hands to the sky. Then witness divine power. Chibaku Tensei! A black sphere shot into the air, growing rapidly. Gravitational force pulled everything toward it. Buildings, trees, the ground itself. Naruto felt the pull, felt his body being dragged toward the growing planetary core. He didn't resist. Instead, he let himself be pulled in, flying toward the sphere along with debris and rubble. As he approached the core, he ignited his hands, crimson moon in his right, sun wheel in his left. Inside the gravitational sphere, surrounded by rock and metal, Naruto brought his hands together. Crimson moon, Nichiren. The explosion was visible across the entire land of fire. Red and golden flames erupted from within the Chibaku Tensei, melting the rock, vaporizing the metal, turning the entire gravitational sphere into molten slag. The core, the black sphere generating the gravity, was incinerated, destroyed by heat that exceeded its binding force. The sphere collapsed, raining molten debris across Konoha. Naruto emerged from the falling slag like a meteor, wreathed in flames that burned brighter than the sun, the giant red moon and golden sun appearing in the sky behind him. Visual manifestations of his ultimate technique made real. Everyone in Konoha looked up in awe. The giant celestial bodies hung in the sky, impossible and beautiful, casting red and gold light across the entire village. Naruto descended, landing softly in the ruined plaza. His flames extinguished, but the moon and sun remained in the sky, slowly fading but visible for minutes after. Tendo lay on the ground, barely alive, its chakra receiver smoking from overload. Naruto approached, knelt beside the defeated body, and placed his hand over its chest. Not to kill, to trace the chakra network back to its source. "I know you're not the real pain," Naruto said quietly. "You're just a corpse being controlled remotely. So I'm going to follow this connection back to whoever's manipulating you, and I'm going to burn them too." He closed his eyes, focusing on the heat signatures traveling through the chakra receivers. Following the connection backward through the village, beyond the walls, to a building on Konoha's outskirts, where a crippled man sat surrounded by machinery and paper. Naruto vanished, using his Matoi to launch himself across the distance in a single leap. He crashed through the building's roof, landing in the center of a paper-lined room where Naruto Uzumaki sat in a mechanical wheelchair, his emaciated body connected to numerous chakra receivers. Beside him, Konan, a blue-haired woman with paper wings, prepared to defend her leader. "Stay back," Nagato rasped, his voice weak but firm. "Konan, this is my battle." "But Nagato, you can't!" "I said stay back!" Konan retreated reluctantly, her origami folding into defensive shapes. Naruto studied Nagato, this broken man who'd caused so much destruction, who'd killed so many people, who'd attacked Konoha with the power of a god. "You're Uzumaki," Naruto observed, noting the red hair and chakra signature similarities. "Distant clan, probably." "Yes, Nagato Uzumaki." The crippled man's renegade eyes met Naruto's red-marked ones. "I sought to bring peace through pain, to make the world understand suffering so deeply that they'd never choose war again." "That's stupid." Naruto's blunt assessment made Nagato flinch. People don't learn from pain, they just find new ways to inflict it on others. Your peace through suffering is just another form of tyranny. "Then what's your answer?" Nato's voice cracked with desperation. "How do you create peace in a world where shinobi exist to kill each other?" "You don't create peace, you protect it." Naruto walked closer, ignoring Konan's tensing. Peace isn't the absence of conflict. It's having people strong enough to defend what matters and wise enough to know what's worth defending. And what's worth defending? The people you choose, the ones who see you as human instead of a weapon or a god or a tool. Naruto's flames began to ignite. "I defend Tuchi and Ayame because they fed me when I was starving. I defend Iruka because he acknowledged my pain. I defend Hinata because she chose to see me instead of the demon inside me. That's worth defending." Nagato stared at this young man who destroyed his 6 paths, who shattered his ultimate technique, who stood before him now with the power to kill but chose to talk instead. "You're so much stronger than me," Nagato whispered, "yet you don't seek to rule or control. Why? Because strength without purpose is just destruction. I learned that from someone I defeated once." Naruto's flames extinguished. "Your Rinnegan gave you godlike power, but it couldn't give you wisdom. So you used pain as a teacher, and all it taught people was how to hate you." Tears streaked down Nagato's gaunt face. "Then I failed. Everything I did, everyone I killed, all the suffering I caused, it was all for nothing." "Not nothing. You showed me what happens when power becomes the only thing that matters. Naruto turned to leave. Use whatever life you have left to fix what you broke. Start with reviving the people you killed today. I can do that. The Rinnegan's ultimate technique, Rinne Rebirth. But it will kill me. Then die doing something worthwhile instead of living as a failed god. Naruto jumped through the hole in the roof, leaving Nagato and Konan alone. Nagato. Konan approached, her paper wings folding. What will you do? What I should have done from the beginning. Nagato's hands formed seals, his chakra flowing through the Rinnegan's power. Give life instead of taking it. The technique activated, Rinne Rebirth, the ability to revive the dead at the cost of the user's life. Across Konoha, the bodies of those killed in Pain's assault began to glow. Chakra returned to dead flesh. Hearts began beating again. Eyes opened. Asuma Sarutobi woke in the morgue, gasping for air, alive again despite having been dead for months. Every civilian killed in the attack returned to life. Every shinobi who'd fallen defending the village opened their eyes. And Naruto Uzumaki, the man who'd called himself Pain, died with a smile on his face, finally understanding that true peace came from protecting life rather than causing death. Konan watched him die, then carefully gathered his body. She folded paper into a shroud, created wings of origami, and flew away from Konoha, carrying the man she loved toward a grave he'd chosen years ago. Naruto watched her go from the Hokage monument, then turned his attention to the village below. Konoha was rebuilding already. Shinobi cleared rubble, medical teams treated injuries, civilians returned to their homes, and in the plaza where the battle had occurred, people gathered around the spot where Naruto had stood, pointing at scorch marks shaped like a perfect circle, the imprint of his heat domain, burned into the stone as a permanent reminder. They would build a monument there eventually. The Circle of Fire, they'd call it. The place where Naruto Uzumaki defeated 6 godlike enemies alone and protected Konoha from annihilation. But for now, Naruto just wanted ramen. He found Tochi already reopening Ichiraku despite the chaos, the old cook refusing to let disaster stop him from feeding people who needed comfort food. Naruto, Tochi grinned when he saw him. Heard you saved the village single-handedly. Again. I just protected what's mine. Naruto sat at his usual spot. Miso ramen, extra pork. Coming right up. As he ate, people approached, thanking him, praising him, asking if he'd finally accept the Hokage position. He refused them all politely but firmly. Hinata found him there an hour later, relief clear in her eyes. Naruto-kun, I was so worried. When I heard about pain in the 6 paths, I'm fine. He gestured to the seat beside him. Want to eat? She sat, ordering her favorite, and they ate in comfortable silence while Konoha slowly returned to normal around them. 3 days after Pain's assault, Danzo Shimura attempted a coup. The elder ninja, long bitter about being passed over for Hokage, used the chaos of rebuilding to seize control of the village council. He declared Tsunade unfit to lead after allowing such a devastating attack, claimed authority under emergency provisions, and attempted to install himself as 6th Hokage. It lasted approximately 30 minutes. Naruto walked into the council chamber where Danzo was declaring his new leadership, planted his matoi in the center of the room, and spoke 3 words. No, you're not. Danzo's visible eye narrowed. You have no authority here, boy. I am. About to leave Konoha permanently. Naruto's flames ignited. You tried to manipulate me when I was a child. You sent root members to test me, which resulted in 3 dead Anbu. You've worked against every Hokage since the 2nd because you believed you knew better. I have served this village for yourself. You've served yourself. Naruto's heat domain began to expand. You can leave Konoha alive and never return, or I can ensure you never leave at all. Choose quickly. The council members were already fleeing, recognizing the tone in Naruto's voice, the same tone he'd used before killing Hidan and Kakuzu. Danzo's hand moved toward his bandaged arm, where Sharingan were embedded in his flesh. Naruto moved faster. His hand grabbed Danzo's wrist, flames igniting on contact. The bandages burned away, revealing the stolen Sharingan beneath, eyes taken from dead Uchiha, implanted through forbidden science. You desecrated the dead for power. Naruto's voice went cold. That's unforgivable. He didn't use a technique, didn't call out a move, just channeled heat directly into Danzo's arm, incinerating it from the inside out. Danzo screamed, falling to his knees as his arm crumbled to ash. "Leave Konoha," Naruto repeated, "or the next thing I burn is your remaining body." Danzo fled, clutching his destroyed arm. His ambitions and manipulations ended by a genin who refused to tolerate corruption disguised as service. The council reconvened the next day, unanimously agreeing that Naruto Uzumaki was too dangerous to cross and too valuable to lose. Tsunade remained Hokage. The 5 Kage summit was called 3 months later. The hidden villages needed to coordinate their response to Akatsuki. The organization had lost multiple members, but still posed a threat. Intelligence suggested their leader, Tobi, was planning something catastrophic. Naruto attended as Konoha's representative, despite not technically being a jonin. "You're the strongest shinobi in the village," Tsunade explained when he questioned the assignment. "The other Kages need to see that Konoha has power to back up our negotiations." "I don't do politics." "You don't have to. Just stand there and look intimidating." The summit was held in the Land of Iron, a neutral country where shinobi combat was forbidden. The 5 Kages gathered. A, the Raikage, Meitarumi, the Mizukage, Onoki, the Tsuchikage, Gaara, the Kazekage, and Tsunade, the Hokage. Naruto stood behind Tsunade, his matoi planted beside him, red-marked eyes scanning the room with obvious boredom. The other Kage's bodyguards tensed at his presence. They'd all read the updated bingo books, knew his reputation, understood that he'd killed multiple S-rank criminals in direct combat. "So this is Konoha's monster," A rumbled, his massive frame leaning forward. "The boy who defeated Pain's 6 paths alone." "I'm not a monster." Naruto's flat tone didn't match the weight of his presence. "I'm just someone who protects what matters." "And what matters to you?" Mei asked, her seductive tone testing him. "My people. Ramen, peace and quiet." He met her eyes without flinching. "Not politics or summits or whatever alliance you're trying to form here." Onoki chuckled, his old face creasing with amusement. "At least he's honest. Most young shinobi would be intimidated by 5 Kages in one room." 5 politicians in fancy hats? Naruto corrected. "Being Kage doesn't make you strong. It just means you're good at administration." A stood, his chakra flaring. "Are you saying I'm weak?" "I'm saying your title doesn't impress me." Naruto's expression didn't change. "If you want to test strength, we can step outside, but I'd rather not waste time on pointless fights." The temperature in the room rose slightly, not a threat, just a reminder that Naruto's power was always present, always ready. Gaara spoke for the first time, his calm voice cutting through the tension. "Naruto is my friend. He saved my life and taught me that strength should protect rather than destroy. I trust his judgment more than most Kages." The other Kages looked at Gaara, the youngest among them, but respected for his recent leadership and reformation of Sunagakure. "If you vouch for him, Kazekage, then we'll proceed." Mei gestured for A to sit. "Though I admit, I'm curious about these flames I've heard about." "They burn," Naruto said simply. "That's all you need to know." The summit continued, discussions about Akatsuki and coordinated defenses and intelligence sharing. Naruto ignored most of it, only paying attention when combat strategies were discussed. Then Sasuke Uchiha arrived. He crashed through the ceiling, Manjikyo Sharingan active, electricity crackling around his body. "I'm here for Danzo Shimura. Where is he?" The Kage's bodyguards immediately moved to defend, but Naruto was faster. He appeared in front of Sasuke, Matoi blocking the Uchiha's path. "Danzo's gone. Left Konoha months ago after I burned his arm off. If you're hunting him, look somewhere else." Sasuke's eyes widened, recognizing Naruto for the first time. "You? What are you doing here?" "Being bored at a political meeting." Naruto's tone remained flat. "What are you doing attacking a neutral summit?" "I'm getting revenge. Danzo ordered the Uchiha massacre." "He probably did. He was always manipulating things from the shadows." Naruto's flames began to ignite. "But attacking a Kage summit won't bring your clan back. It'll just make you a bigger target." "I don't care. I'll kill everyone if it means getting justice." "That's not justice. That's just revenge wearing a different mask." Naruto planted his matoi between them. "You want to fight someone? Fight me. Leave the Kages alone." Sasuke's Mangekyo Sharingan spun, Amaterasu activating. Black flames erupted toward Naruto, the inextinguishable fire meant to burn through anything. Naruto raised his hand and absorbed the Amaterasu. The black flames swirled into his palm. their eternal burning nature converting to fuel for his own pyrokinesis. Within seconds, the Amaterasu was gone, not extinguished, but consumed and transformed into crimson fire. Sasuke stared in shock. That's impossible. Amaterasu can't be. I control all flames, even divine ones. Naruto's hand now held black and crimson fire, a hybrid of Sasuke's technique and his own power. Want to see what happens when I return it? He threw the flames back. Sasuke barely dodged, his curse mark spreading across his skin as he activated its power for defense. You've gotten stronger. You've gotten desperate. Naruto's tone didn't change. Orochimaru didn't give you power. He just gave you borrowed strength that you don't know how to use. Sasuke formed a Chidori, lightning screaming in his hand. He charged forward, Sharingan tracking Naruto's movements. Naruto didn't move. The Chidori hit his heat domain and dispersed, the lightning unable to maintain cohesion through superheated air. Sasuke's hand passed through empty space where Naruto had been, momentum carrying him forward into nothing. Naruto grabbed Sasuke by the throat mid-stumble, lifting him off the ground. I'm done with you, Sasuke. I beat you at the Valley of the End. I'm beating you now. And I'll keep beating you every time you show up until you learn that power isn't the answer to your pain. He threw Sasuke across the room, the Uchiha's body slamming into a wall hard enough to crack stone. Sasuke tried to rise, but his body wouldn't cooperate. Ribs cracked, chakra exhausted, Sharingan barely active. Leave, Naruto commanded. Hunt Danzo if you want. Get your revenge. But stay away from Konoha and my people, or next time I won't hold back. Sasuke coughed blood, glaring with hatred. You're supposed to be my rival. We're supposed to fight at the Valley of the End when we're both at full strength. We already did that. You lost. Naruto turned back to the Kages. If you want a proper fight, get stronger first. Until then, you're just a distraction. Kakashi appeared then, having been tracking Sasuke. I'll take him from here, Naruto. Do whatever you want with him. Just keep him away from my people. Naruto returned to his position behind Tsunade. The Kage stared, processing what they just witnessed. Naruto Uzumaki defeating an Uchiha with Mangekyo Sharingan, using nothing but basic techniques and overwhelming power. That boy, Onoki murmured, is going to reshape the shinobi world whether he wants to or not. Tsunade smiled slightly. He already has. The Fourth Great Ninja War was declared 2 months later. Tobi, revealed to be Obito Uchiha, formerly thought dead, announced his Moon's Eye plan, using the 10 tails to cast an infinite Tsukuyomi Genjutsu on the entire world, trapping everyone in dreams while he controlled reality. The 5 great nations united for the first time in history, forming the allied shinobi forces. Naruto refused to join. I'm not fighting in an army, he told Tsunade flatly. Armies have structure, command chains, people telling me where to go and what to do. I'll fight when I choose to fight. Naruto, this is war. Everyone needs to. I'll protect Konoha. I'll kill Akatsuki members if they threaten my people. But I won't take orders from generals I don't respect or fight battles that don't matter to me. His tone left no room for argument. Use your army for battlefield tactics. I'll handle the S-rank threats. Tsunade knew better than to argue. Fine, but at least coordinate with the alliance. If you're going to fight alone, make sure you're not fighting against our own forces. I can tell the difference between ally and enemy. Heat signatures are distinct. The war began with massive troop movements, hundreds of thousands of shinobi gathering on battlefields across the continent. White Zetsu clones emerged from the ground, creating an army of plant-based soldiers that attacked indiscriminately. Naruto watched from a distance, observing the chaos without participating. Then he sensed it. Reanimated shinobi, the dead brought back through Edo Tensei, appearing across multiple battlefields. One signature in particular caught his attention, a heat pattern he recognized from history books and old battle records. Madara Uchiha, the legendary founder of the Uchiha clan, brought back from death itself, was appearing on the main battlefield where the Alliance's forces were concentrated. Naruto planted his Matoi, took a deep breath, and launched himself across the distance using fire thrust from his feet. He arrived to find carnage. Madara stood in the center of a crater, surrounded by hundreds of defeated shinobi. His perfect Susanoo, a giant chakra warrior the size of a small mountain, dominated the battlefield, its blade carving through Alliance forces like wheat before a scythe. The Kages were engaging him, Onoki, Gaara, Tsunade, and Mei working together. But even combined, they couldn't match Madara's power. Naruto landed between Madara and the Alliance forces, his Matoi planted in the scorched earth. Another one. Madara's voice carried amusement despite the battle. How many must I defeat before they learn that fighting a legend is futile? Legends are just stories about people who died. Naruto's flames ignited. Let me show you why the dead should stay dead. Madara's Susanoo raised its massive blade, bringing it down toward Naruto with force enough to split mountains. Naruto raised one hand. Crimson Moon. A circular blast of red flames erupted from his palm, expanding into a disc that caught the Susanoo's blade. The flames didn't just block, they melted, cutting through chakra made solid like heat through ice. The blade shattered, fragments of blue chakra dissipating into nothing. Madara's eyes widened behind his Susanoo's armor. That technique, what kind of fire burns chakra itself? The kind that doesn't care about your legacy. Naruto's other hand ignited with Sun Wheel. Your Susanoo is just concentrated chakra. My flames exist at temperatures that break down energy itself. You're not invincible, you're just outdated. The Susanoo attacked again, this time with both hands, trying to crush Naruto through overwhelming force. Naruto brought both hands together. Crimson Moon, Nichiren. The explosion of merged fire created a pillar that reached the clouds, red and golden flames spiraling upward in a vortex of pure heat. The perfect Susanoo was engulfed, its massive form unable to escape the conflagration. When the flames cleared, the Susanoo was gone, melted away completely. Madara stood exposed, his Edo Tensei body regenerating from damage, but his expression showing genuine shock. You destroyed perfect Susanoo with fire alone. Not sealing jutsu, not sage mode, just raw heat. Madara began to laugh, genuine amusement mixed with respect. Who are you, child? Naruto Uzumaki, Genin of Konoha, fire user. The same introduction he'd given Zabuza years ago. And someone who doesn't believe legends should dictate the present. A Genin who surpasses Kages. Madara's hands formed seals. Then let me show you what a true legend can do. Wood style, deep forest emergence. Massive trees erupted from the battlefield, growing at impossible speeds, creating a forest that threatened to overwhelm everything. The same technique Hashirama Senju had used to shape landscapes. Naruto raised both hands to the sky. Red Sun. A pillar of crimson fire erupted from his position, spreading outward in all directions. The flames didn't just burn, they incinerated, turning wood to ash before it could fully form. The entire forest that Madara created was consumed in seconds. Hashirama's wood style was weak to fire, Naruto explained calmly. Yours is no different. Stop relying on techniques from your era and adapt. Madara's expression shifted from amusement to genuine interest. You speak as if you fought legendary shinobi before. I've fought everyone who threatened my people. You're just another name added to the list. Then show me your full power. Madara's Rinnegan eyes activated. The ultimate dojutsu, beyond even Sharingan. Planetary devastation. Black spheres shot into the sky, generating gravitational force that pulled everything toward them. The same technique Pain had used, but on a scale 10 times larger. Naruto watched the spheres rise, calculating trajectories and energy requirements. Then he smiled, the first genuine smile anyone had seen from him in combat. Finally, someone who requires my ultimate technique. His body ignited completely, flames engulfing him from head to toe. Not destructive fire, controlled fire that turned his entire body into a living furnace. His matoi began to glow white hot, metal melting and reforming into pure thermal energy. Behind him, the red moon and golden sun appeared in the sky, larger than before, more defined, vivid. They looked like actual celestial bodies descending to earth. Everyone on the battlefield stopped fighting, staring at the impossible sight. What is that? A whispered. That, Gaara answered quietly, is Naruto at full power. Naruto's hands came together, flames spiraling around his body in patterns that defied physics. Crimson Moon, Sun Wheel, Nichiren Requiem. He launched himself toward the gravitational spheres. As he flew, the flames around him intensified, creating a trail of fire that burned through the very air itself. When he reached the first sphere, he punched through it, not with physical force, but with heat so intense that the sphere's structure collapsed before his fist made contact. The second sphere, destroyed. Third, fourth, fifth. Each one fell to flames that transcended normal fire, becoming something closer to the sun's core, made manifest in human form. When the last sphere shattered, Naruto descended back to the battlefield, his body still wreathed in fire, the red moon and golden sun still visible in the sky. Madara stared, his Rinnegan analyzing the technique, his brain trying to comprehend power that shouldn't exist. That's not ninjutsu. That's not even Kekkei Genkai. His voice carried genuine awe. That's pure thermal manipulation at a level that breaks natural law. It's who I am. Naruto's flames began to fade, returning to normal levels. I was born with fire in my soul. Everything else just burns. Then I acknowledge you. Madara bowed slightly, a gesture of respect from a legend to his better. Naruto Uzumaki, you are the strongest shinobi I've encountered since Hashirama Senju. Perhaps stronger. Does that mean you'll surrender? No. It means I'll enjoy this fight until my Edo Tensei breaks. Madara's hands formed new seals. Show me more of your flames, King of Fire. They clashed again and again, Madara using every technique in his arsenal, wood style, fire style, perfect Susanoo, Rinnegan powers, while Naruto countered with variations of his pyrokinetic abilities. The battle lasted 3 hours. When it finally ended, not through victory, but through the Edo Tensei seal breaking as someone elsewhere disabled the technique, Madara was actually smiling. You are magnificent, he told Naruto as his body began to disintegrate. In another life, I would have enjoyed fighting beside you rather than against you. In another life, maybe you wouldn't have chosen war as your answer to peace. Perhaps. Madara's form became translucent. Protect this era, Naruto Uzumaki. Don't let it become like mine, where power was the only thing that mattered. He faded to nothing, leaving Naruto alone in a battlefield marked by their combat. The Alliance forces approached cautiously, seeing the devastation, craters, melted rock, scorched earth extending for miles. Tsunade walked up to Naruto. You fought Madara Uchiha to a standstill, alone. I fought him until the technique keeping him alive failed. That's not the same as defeating him. Naruto pulled his re-solidified Matoi from the ground. But yes, I survived. That's enough. The Alliance wants to make you a general, give you command of. No, Naruto, I fight alone. I protect my people. I don't command armies or develop strategies or coordinate with people I don't trust. His red-marked eyes met hers. Use your alliance for conventional warfare. I'll handle the threats that require overwhelming force. Tsunade sighed but nodded. Fine, just try not to destroy too much of the continent while you're at it. No promises. The war continued for weeks. Naruto appeared at critical moments, when reanimated Kages threatened to overwhelm Alliance forces, when Kabuto's Edo Tensei army created choke points, when Obito himself appeared wielding the power of multiple Jinchuriki. Each time, Naruto arrived, fought with overwhelming force, and left before anyone could coordinate with him. He became a ghost story among both sides, the King of Fire who appeared like a natural disaster, destroyed whatever threatened his chosen people, then vanished before gratitude could be expressed. The Alliance learned to work around him, developing strategies that accounted for Naruto's interventions without relying on them. And slowly, impossibly, the tide of war turned in their favor. The final battle approached. Obito, defeated and redeemed through Naruto's philosophy of protection over control, sacrificed himself to stop Madara's revival. But Black Zetsu, ancient, patient, manipulating, used Madara's body to revive Kaguya Otsutsuki, the mother of chakra herself. She appeared on the battlefield, her pale skin and Byakugan eyes marking her as something beyond human. Her chakra was immeasurable, her power legendary, her goal the absorption of all chakra in the world. Naruto stood before her, the last line of defense between Kaguya and the exhausted Alliance forces. You are the one they call King of Fire, Kaguya observed, her voice distant and cold. Yet you use primitive thermal manipulation rather than chakra techniques. How? Quaint. Primitive works. Naruto's flames ignited. Chakra can be absorbed, controlled, manipulated. Fire just burns. Then let me show you what true power looks like. Kaguya shifted dimensions, pulling them into her lava world, a realm of molten stone and intense heat meant to overwhelm any opponent. Naruto looked around at the lava, felt the ambient temperature that would kill normal humans instantly, and smiled. You brought me to a place made of fire? That's the worst tactical decision you could make. He extended his hands, and the lava responded. All of it. Every molten flow, every pool of liquid stone, every bit of thermal energy in the entire dimension, it flowed toward Naruto like iron to a magnet. His second-generation abilities gave him dominion over all external fire sources, and lava was just slow-moving fire. Within seconds, the lava world became a barren rock plain, all its heat absorbed into Naruto's body. Kaguya's expression shifted to surprise. That's impossible. You absorbed an entire dimension's thermal energy? I told you. Fire obeys me. Naruto's body was glowing now, radiating heat so intense that space itself distorted. This is your last chance. Leave Earth alone, or I use all this energy to burn you out of existence. Kaguya's response was to shift dimensions again. This time to her ice world, a frozen wasteland meant to counteract his flames. Naruto raised the temperature. Not slowly, not gradually. He simply released all the stored energy from the lava world at once, creating a heat wave that melted the entire dimension in seconds. Ice became water, became steam, became nothing as temperatures exceeded what matter could withstand. Kaguya fled to her gravity world, where increased gravitational force crushed everything. Naruto used fire thrust to counter the gravity, his flames creating enough force to hold him stable despite impossible weight. You can't win by changing environments, he observed calmly. I adapt to anything that involves heat or its absence. Your dimensions are just proving my point. Kaguya's expression twisted with rage. Then I'll destroy you with absolute power. She formed her ultimate technique, the expansive truth-seeking ball, a massive sphere of combined elements meant to obliterate everything it touched. Naruto looked at the growing sphere, calculated its energy output, and made his decision. Fine, let's end this properly. His body ignited completely, every cell, every molecule, every atom producing heat at levels that transcended physics. His matoi melted away entirely, becoming pure thermal energy that orbited his body like satellites. Behind him, the red moon and golden sun appeared again, but this time they weren't illusions or manifestations. They were real celestial bodies he'd created from concentrated heat, miniature stars hanging in Kaguya's dimension. Crimson Moon, Sun Wheel, Nichiren Requiem. He charged forward, becoming a meteor of fire that moved faster than light itself. The truth-seeking ball tried to destroy him, its reality-warping power attempting to erase him from existence. But you can't erase heat. You can only transfer it. Naruto's flames absorbed the sphere's energy, converting destructive force into fuel, growing stronger as the attack tried to destroy him. When he reached Kaguya, he didn't punch or kick or use a weapon. He simply touched her, transferring all that absorbed energy directly into her immortal body. Kaguya's scream was silent, her voice destroyed before sound could form. Her body began to glow, not from chakra, but from pure thermal energy burning through her from the inside. You said chakra was power. Naruto spoke directly into her mind, his hand still pressed to her chest. But fire came before chakra. Heat existed before life, and entropy will exist after everything else fades. Kaguya's body began to disintegrate, not sealed, not trapped, but actually destroyed. Her immortality couldn't withstand heat that exceeded stellar cores. Her regeneration couldn't outpace destruction at the molecular level. You're not a god. Naruto's final words to her carried absolute certainty. You're just someone who forgot that even gods can burn. Kaguya Otsutsuki, mother of chakra, creator of the shinobi world, died completely, finally, irreversibly. Her body turned to ash, then plasma, then dispersed into constituent atoms that scattered across her dimension. Black Zetsu, trying to escape, was caught by residual flames and shared his mother's fate. The dimension collapsed, no longer sustained by Kaguya's chakra. Naruto created a portal using concentrated heat, bending space through thermal expansion, and returned to the regular world. He emerged on the battlefield to find every shinobi staring at him. His body was still glowing, residual heat making him look like a being made of living fire. The red moon and golden sun hung in the sky above him, slowly fading but visible to everyone. It's over, Naruto announced simply. Kaguya's dead. Madara's sealed. Obito sacrificed himself. The war is over. Silence. Then someone cheered, then another. Then the entire allied shinobi forces erupted in celebration, thousands of voices shouting victory, relief, joy at having survived. Naruto ignored it all, walking through the crowd toward where he sensed Hinata's chakra signature. She was safe, protected behind Alliance defensive lines, her Byakugan having witnessed the entire final battle from a distance. When she saw him approaching, tears streamed down her face. Not from fear or sadness, from pure overwhelming emotion at seeing him alive. "Naruto-kun," she whispered as he reached her. He didn't speak, just pulled her into a gentle hug, his body temperature lowering to comfortable levels so he wouldn't burn her. "It's over," he repeated quietly, "just for her. We can go home now." She held him tighter, and for the first time since the war began, Naruto allowed himself to relax. The aftermath of the Fourth Great Ninja War took months to process. Casualties were tallied. Villages were rebuilt. Treaties were signed. The allied shinobi forces dissolved back into their respective nations. Though new alliances remained in place, Naruto was offered every possible honor. Supreme Commander of Allied Forces, Hokage of Konoha, Hero of the Five Nations, honorary Kage in every village, he refused them all. "I didn't fight for titles," he told the gathered Kages during the final peace summit. "I fought to protect the people I chose to protect. That doesn't change based on what you call me." "But surely you want recognition for," Mei began. "No. Recognition requires maintaining a reputation. That's exhausting." Naruto stood from the table. "If you want to honor me, just leave me alone to live my life." He walked out of the summit, leaving 5 Kages staring after him in bemusement. Tsunade eventually retired, naming Kakashi as 6th Hokage. Kakashi tried to make Naruto his advisor. Naruto refused. Tried to promote him to Jonin, refused. Tried to assign him to Anbu, refused. Finally, Kakashi just gave up and let Naruto be a genin who occasionally took S-rank solo missions when he felt like it. The village adapted around him. Merchants knew not to bother him with commercial opportunities. Politicians learned that trying to use him for political gain resulted in their offices mysteriously catching fire. Children admired him from a distance, but knew better than to approach unless invited. And Naruto? Naruto just lived. He trained daily, pushing his abilities to new heights. His heat domain expanded to 6 meters. His techniques gained variations he'd never needed before. His Matoi, rebuilt from heat-resistant alloys developed specifically for him, became an extension of his body even more seamlessly than before. He spent evenings with Hinata, their relationship deepening into something beyond romance or partnership, a bond forged through shared understanding and mutual respect. One evening, 2 years after the war's end, Hinata made a request. "Naruto-kun, I want to ask you something important." They were at their favorite spot, a hill overlooking Konoha, where they could see the entire village without being seen themselves. "Ask." He was lying on the grass, watching clouds pass overhead. Would you marry me?" Naruto sat up, looking at her properly. "Traditionally, I'm supposed to ask that question." "I know, but you're not traditional in any way except how you dress." She smiled, nervous but determined. "So I'm asking, will you marry me, Naruto Uzumaki?" He considered the question seriously, not because he doubted his answer, but because he wanted to give it the weight it deserved. Marriage means binding myself to you legally and ceremonially. It means acknowledging publicly that you're one of my people, the most important of my people. He took her hand. "Yes, I'll marry you." Hinata's smile could have lit up the village. "Really?" "I don't say things I don't mean." He pulled her close, his body warmth comfortable rather than dangerous. "Though I should warn you, I'm not changing my lifestyle. I'll still train alone, still refuse orders, still prioritize protecting what I choose over what I'm told." "I know, that's who you are." She rested her head on his shoulder. "I'm not asking you to change. I'm asking you to choose to be with me while staying yourself. Then we understand each other perfectly." They married 3 months later in a small ceremony, just immediate family and chosen people. Tochi and Ayame attended. Iruka gave a speech about how Naruto had grown from a lonely child into someone who understood the value of bonds. Kakashi tried to make jokes but got too emotional. Sakura cried despite claiming she wouldn't. The Hyuga clan attended in full formal dress, Hiashi giving his blessing with genuine warmth. The clan elders who'd opposed the match were notably absent. Rumor said they'd retired early after someone, definitely not Naruto, had explained very clearly that opposing the Hyuga heir's choice would be unwise. Naruto wore traditional ceremonial robes, red and white, matching his usual style but more formal. His Matoi stood beside him like a groomsman. Hinata wore a white kimono with red and orange accents, her dark hair styled with fire lily ornaments that Naruto had personally crafted from crystallized flame. When asked for vows, Naruto spoke simply, "I choose you. Not because I need you, but because I want you beside me. You see me as human when the world sees a weapon. You bring me food without expecting gratitude. You sit with me in silence without demanding conversation. That's more valuable than any love confession could be. I'll protect you, provide for you, and prioritize your happiness alongside my own. That's my vow." Hinata's vows were longer, more emotional, but they boiled down to the same sentiment, choosing to be together while remaining themselves. When the ceremony ended and they were officially married, Naruto did something unexpected. He smiled. Not a small smile or a brief quirk of lips, a genuine full smile that reached his eyes and softened his entire expression. And in that moment, everyone present understood why Hinata had fallen in love with this stoic, powerful, traditional young man. Because beneath the flames and the strength and the refusal to conform, Naruto Uzumaki was simply human, choosing to share his life with someone who saw him completely. 5 years passed. Naruto and Hinata lived in a modest home on Konoha's outskirts, traditional architecture, simple furnishings, a training ground in the back where Naruto practiced daily. They had 2 children, Boruto, who inherited his father's blonde hair and red-marked eyes, and Himawari, who had her mother's dark hair but her father's temperature control abilities. Both children were taught from an early age that power was a responsibility, not a right. That strength should protect rather than dominate. That fire could warm or destroy, and the choice was theirs. Naruto remained Genin by official rank, but was recognized worldwide as the strongest shinobi alive. Villages sent representatives to ask his opinion on matters of security. Kages consulted him when threats emerged that conventional forces couldn't handle. He helped when he chose to, refused when he didn't, and never explained his reasoning beyond, "It's my choice." Tochi and Ayame retired, passing Ichiraku ramen to their son. Naruto attended the retirement party and gave a speech, brief but genuine, about how their kindness had saved his life more than any jutsu could. Iruka became academy headmaster, implementing new teaching methods based on Naruto's philosophy, trained students to think for themselves rather than blindly follow orders. Kakashi served as Hokage for 10 years before retiring and passing the position to Naruto, or trying to. "I refuse," Naruto said for the 1,000th time. "Naruto, you're the only one qualified." Kakashi was practically begging now. The village needs someone who wants to be Hokage. "I don't." Naruto sipped his tea. They were having this conversation at his home, where Kakashi had ambushed him during dinner. "Give it to Shikamaru. He's smart enough to handle politics and lazy enough to delegate properly." "Shikamaru already refused. He suggested you." "Then ask Sakura. She's got medical expertise and leadership experience." "She's running the hospital. She can't." "Kakashi." Naruto set down his cup, red-marked eyes meeting his former sensei's one visible eye. "I understand you want to retire. I understand the village respects me, but I will never be Hokage. That position requires sacrificing personal choice for village duty, and I refuse to do that." "Then what will you do?" "Live my life, protect my people, train my children, eat ramen." Naruto stood, collecting dishes, the same things I've always done. Being Hokage wouldn't change that except by forcing me to attend boring meetings and sign paperwork. Kakashi sighed, defeated. "Fine, I'll ask Naruto." "I just said no. I meant I'll ask people until someone says yes." The former Hokage stood to leave. "But for the record, you'd be a great Hokage. Unconventional, probably terrifying to the council, definitely a diplomatic nightmare, but great." "Good thing I'm never going to find out." After Kakashi left, Hinata emerged from the kitchen where she'd been eavesdropping. "You could be Hokage if you wanted. You're strong enough, smart enough, and the village loves you now. The village fears me and calls it love." Naruto pulled her close. "Besides, being Hokage would mean less time with you and the children. That's not a trade I'm willing to make." She smiled, resting her head against his chest. "Good answer." They stood together in comfortable silence, and Naruto realized something that would have shocked his younger self. He was happy. Not the explosive joy that poets wrote about. Not the dramatic satisfaction of defeating enemies. Just content. Peaceful. Complete. He had family who loved him, friends who respected him, a village that acknowledged him, and most importantly, the freedom to choose his own path. That was enough, more than enough, everything he'd ever really wanted. The years continued passing. Boruto grew strong, training under his father's guidance, but developing his own style, less focused on pure fire, more on precision and control. He inherited Naruto's red-marked eyes, but also Hinata's Byakugan, creating a unique combination that let him see chakra flow while controlling thermal energy. Himawari was quieter, more like her mother, but when angered, she could create temperature fluctuations that affected entire buildings. Naruto taught her the same lesson he'd learned. That power was a tool, and tools were only as good or bad as how you used them. Both children understood that their father was special, not just strong, but fundamentally different from other shinobi. They saw how people treated him with respect mixed with fear, how other ninja gave him space, how even Kage spoke carefully in his presence. But at home, he was just dad, strict but fair, distant but loving in his own way, always willing to answer questions even if the answers were blunt. "Why don't you use ninjutsu like other people?" Boruto asked once during training. "Because fire is my nature, not a tool I wield." Naruto demonstrated, flames igniting along his hand without hand seals or chakra molding. Most ninja learn techniques that copy elements. I just am fire. It's like asking why I breathe. It's not a technique, it's existence. "So I can't learn your moves?" You can learn the principles. Control, precision, understanding that fire isn't just destruction, it's transformation. Heat changes states of matter, breaks down complex structures, creates reactions that lead to new things. Naruto gestured to a training dummy. "Show me how you'd attack it." Boruto formed a small fireball, his own technique, developed through practice, and threw it at the dummy. The dummy burned. "Effective," Naruto acknowledged. "But wasteful. You used 10 times the heat needed." Fire isn't about maximizing destruction. It's about applying the right amount of heat to achieve your goal. He raised his own hand, creating a tiny flame. "Watch." He threw the small flame at another dummy. Instead of burning the entire target, the flame hit the center mass and expanded outward in a controlled pattern, burning only the vital areas while leaving the rest intact. Same result, disabled target, but I used 1/10 the energy and created a more precise outcome. Naruto extinguished his flames. That's the difference between using fire and being fire. You copy the motion. I understand the principle. Boruto nodded, filing away the lesson. These teaching moments happen regularly. Father passing knowledge to son not through jutsu scrolls or formal training, but through demonstration and philosophy. Himawari received different lessons. She was naturally gifted at temperature control, but struggled with combat application. "I don't want to hurt people," she confessed once after accidentally burning a training partner. "Then don't." Naruto's answer was simple. Fire can warm without burning. It can light without destroying. Your power isn't inherently violent, it's just energy. How you apply it determines whether it helps or harms. But everyone expects me to fight because I'm your daughter. Everyone can expect whatever they want. You choose what you become. He created a small flame and handed it to her, literally placed fire in her palm without burning her. This flame could cook food, light a campfire, or burn down a building. The fire itself is neutral. Your choice gives it meaning. Himawari stared at the flame in her hand, understanding dawning. From that moment, she focused on supportive applications of her power, using heat to accelerate healing, creating warm environments for injured people, precision temperature control for medical procedures. She became the first thermal medical specialist in shinobi history. Naruto was proud of both children, though he rarely said so directly. His pride showed in how he treated them, with respect, autonomy, and trust that they'd make good choices. On Naruto's 40th birthday, the village threw a massive celebration. He tried to refuse, but Hinata insisted. "Just this once, let people show appreciation. You've protected them for decades. Let them thank you." The celebration was held in Konoha's Central Plaza, the same place where he defeated Pain's 6 Paths years ago. The scorch marks from that battle had been preserved as a memorial, turned into a monument called the Circle of Fire. Thousands attended. Current and former Kages gave speeches. Shinobi from multiple villages came to pay respects. Merchants offered free goods. Children performed plays about his legendary battles. Naruto endured it all with patient stoicism, only truly relaxing when he could escape to Ichiraku afterward with his family. Tuchi's son, now running the stand, prepared a special ramen recipe created specifically for Naruto. Extra spicy miso with fire pepper garnish, only possible to eat for someone with his heat resistance. To the King of Fire, the cook toasted. To Dad, Boruto and Himawari added. To Naruto-kun, Hinata finished. Naruto looked at them, his family, his chosen people, his reason for everything, and spoke the truth he'd learned over 40 years. Fire burns what needs burning and warms what needs warmth. I spent my life learning which is which. He raised his teacup to choosing what matters. They drank together, and the moment was perfect. Simple, peaceful, complete. Everything Naruto Uzumaki, the boy who'd carried fire in his soul, had ever truly wanted. Epilogue. Years later, when Naruto was old enough that his red-marked eyes had faded to pale embers and his blonde hair had turned silver white, he sat on the Hokage monument watching the sunset. He'd never become Hokage. That title eventually went to Shikamaru, who handled it with characteristic brilliance and constant complaints about how troublesome the job was. But Naruto's legacy was carved into Konoha anyway. The academy taught his philosophies. Shinobi across the world studied his techniques. Parents told their children stories about the King of Fire, who protected what mattered and refused to kneel. Hinata had passed away peacefully 5 years prior, her heart simply stopping one evening while they sat together watching stars. Naruto had held her as she went, his warmth keeping her comfortable until the very end. He hadn't remarried. Didn't see the point. She'd been his choice, and that choice didn't change just because she was gone. Boruto was now a jonin, protecting the village with the same principles his father had taught. Himawari ran the hospital, her thermal medical techniques saving lives daily. Both visited regularly, bringing grandchildren who looked at Naruto with awe and affection in equal measure. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in reds and golds that matched Naruto's flames, a young shinobi approached. Naruto-sama, I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's a situation that requires... I'm retired, Naruto said without turning around. But the threat is S rank and no one else can. Then they'll learn to handle it themselves. Naruto's voice was gentle but final. I protected Konoha for 60 years, fought wars, defeated legends, changed the world. Someone else's turn now. The shinobi hesitated, then bowed and left. Naruto watched the sun finish setting, remembering all the battles, like all the choices, all the people he'd protected and lost over the decades. No regrets. He'd lived exactly as he'd wanted, on his own terms, protecting his chosen people, never kneeling to authority or tradition or expectation. He'd shown the world that strength didn't require ambition, that power could be wielded with restraint, that fire could warm instead of only destroying. And in doing so, he'd become exactly what the world needed. Not a hero seeking glory, not a leader demanding obedience, but simply a man who protected what he chose to protect and refused to apologize for it. The first stars appeared in the darkening sky. Naruto stood, collected his matoi, the same weapon he'd carried since childhood, repaired and rebuilt countless times but fundamentally unchanged, and started walking home. As he passed through Konoha's evening streets, people stopped to bow, not from fear, but from genuine respect. From understanding that this old man with silver hair and faded red-marked eyes had shaped their world more than any Hokage could. Naruto acknowledged them with slight nods. Nothing more. At home, still the modest house on Konoha's outskirts where he and Hinata had raised their children, he prepared tea, lit candles with a touch of his fingers, and sat in comfortable silence. The flames danced before him, familiar and eternal, reflecting in eyes that had seen more than any human should. And Naruto Uzumaki, the boy who'd carried fire in his soul and became the man who changed the world without ever seeking to rule it, smiled one final time, not from joy or satisfaction or pride, just contentment. He'd lived well, protected those who mattered, made choices he could stand behind, refused to compromise himself for others' expectations. That was enough, more than enough, everything. As the candles burned and the night deepened, Naruto closed his eyes and let warmth, his own warmth, the fire that had defined his existence, surround him one last time. And in that moment of perfect peace, the King of Fire rested, his legend complete, his choices vindicated, his life lived exactly as he'd wanted. The flames continued dancing, eternal and unchanging, long after their master's breathing stilled. Because fire doesn't die, it just waits for someone else who refuses to kneel, someone else who carries fire in their soul, someone else who chooses to burn bright on their own terms. The legend of Naruto Uzumaki, Benimaru Shinmon Reborn, ended not with a dramatic battle or a heroic sacrifice, but with a quiet smile in a dark room, surrounded by warmth of his own making. And that, more than any victory or title or monument, was exactly what he'd wanted: peace, choice, fire, the end. And so concludes the legend of Naruto Uzumaki, the boy who was born with fire in his soul and changed the shinobi world by refusing to be anything other than himself. He never became Hokage, never sought glory, never compromised his principles, and in doing so became more influential than any leader could ever be. His story teaches us that strength without purpose is just destruction, that power is a choice rather than a destiny, and that sometimes the most revolutionary act is simply being yourself despite a world that demands conformity. Fire doesn't kneel. Fire doesn't compromise. Fire just burns, and in burning, it transforms everything it touches. Naruto Uzumaki was fire made flesh, and the world was better for it.
The will of fire has evolved into an absolute inferno. If this devastating theory ignited your imagination, destroy that like button and subscribe to join our elite ranks. Comment below which anime legend Naruto should embody next. Keep the flame alive and hit the bell. We're just getting started.